How is it going, everyone? Welcome to more Need for Speed Undercover. And I actually managed to make the challenge series work. You will see right here that in order to make them work, you need what it's called in Xbox 360 a title update. That I'm not sure why it's called like that, but basically it's an update. It's just an update because it doesn't work in like the base version of the game. So that's what you need to make the challenge series work. And I was also right, this is a free update that got released back when the game was still new, like I think a couple months old. I'm not sure exactly how much, but yeah, it's completely free. And well, it does have other DLCs. It also has an ass there. I'm not sure why, but sure. And yeah, the challenge series are basically about the modes of the game. So let's just start with that. That's a good thing. It follows the formula for challenge series that Need for Speed Carbon has, and not the one from Most Wanted, because the one from Most Wanted was very bad. But the one from Carbon was cool, and thankfully this one follows that. And well, here we will be able to see other cars, since I pretty much exclusively use the Lotus Elise. Though I don't know, since this is an update, if the Lotus got nerfed, because I would assume that they probably did not intend for the Lotus to be so extremely good. I feel like that was an accident, right? But yeah, I don't know if it got nerfed or not. What I do know is that the liveries were like the one that my Lotus had got completely changed, because I don't know, maybe the IDs for the liveries before the update are different. So yeah, they got completely changed, and I had to change them back to what they were. But yeah, I gotta say that it took me a while to figure out that what I was missing was an update. Because I don't think that this is something that you can find through simply googling. Like, I think it's something that, I mean, I found it thanks to the Xinia Discord. But yeah, aside from that, I don't think that it's something that you can easily find. Because, I mean, in the first place, I didn't even know that the Xbox version had updates. Like, in Google, something that you can find is mostly that the PC version is the one with updates, and that you need the latest updates to make it run. But I thought that the Xbox 360 version was updateless. But no, it wasn't. There are updates, and well, this one is the one required. Another weird thing is that, like, this is why I don't know why it's not more straightforward. These updates are, like, there are many of them, depending on the version of the game, but it doesn't tell you, like, the repository that has the updates doesn't tell you exactly which one belongs to which version. So I basically had to do trial and error to see which one is the right one, and if you don't have the right one and you install the wrong one, the game will crash as soon as you open it. So yeah, it's a little bit weird that you have to do so much stuff just for something that should be more straightforward. I mean, it obviously was straightforward back when the Xbox 360 was a thing. If you're gonna emulate it, well, not really. I also figured out by searching that apparently the Xbox 360 version is the best one. Like, apparently the PC version has a lot of bugs and performance issues. Like, the PS3 version has worse frame rate than this one. And well, the other versions are from previous generations, so they don't really count. Or you can dominate these events too. I hope I don't need to dominate them all though, so it could be hard. Well, just like I did for Carbon, I'm gonna go one by one by type of event. I'm not gonna do the same type until I reach gold. Here we are with the Toyota Supra. So I was about to say as well that apparently, aside from bronze, silver and gold, there is also another classification for these events. It's like apparently you have like street level events and pro level events, but it doesn't seem like the UI implies that, so I'm not sure how that works. That was free to nobody's surprise. Escapes are the easiest event in the game, pretty much. It's what I say, like, none of this says anything, but if you go to event summary, so I'm assuming the pro is gonna get unlocked later, once you beat all of this, probably. Also, who is this girl meant to be? Is she like the Asian girl that is and like ends up being the villain at the end? I don't know. They really like to show her off. I mean, I don't mind. Okay, so here we're using the Nissan 240, right? No, wait, it isn't. Wait, is this the RX-7? With a very shitty customization, though. Okay. I do hope that at least unlocking the pro events does not require... Wow, nice. Does not require dominating all of them, because I don't think I'm a fan of that. This one I have to restart it. I promise that this car is not very good in this configuration, it seems. Well, it's not that it's not good, it's just that I'm assuming that the Supra is probably faster. Well, not if... Nice. Crash against the fucking pickup truck and it ended up sending it to me. Damn it. Can I avoid crashing? Would be nice. Well, you probably saw it already on the challenge selection screen, but you have the game advertising the DLCs. One of the DLCs is basically like a boss pack. Like basically you get the cars that the bosses, well, bosses, I'm assuming it means the captured targets used to have. Also, I think that with this update, the performance might actually be better. Because I'm seeing that these cars are spawning on the spot. Well, when I say on the spot, I mean that you can see them spawn. While without this update, it feels like they were already there, like you didn't see them spawn. I can't believe I have to crash against every single crash this other asshole crashes again. Damn it. This Supra is being an asshole. Well, to be fair, I managed to overtake him on the first try and I ended up crashing with a truck, so that one was my fault. This truck, right? Well, there could be many trucks. No, it was probably that one that I just passed. You also have some cars crashing for absolutely no reason. Like they get distracted, they were using the phone while driving. So in 2008 I don't think it was that common to see people getting distracted by phones, since smartphones were not really a thing. Well, in 2008 actually smartphones... No, right? Not yet? Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by smartphone. I'm pretty sure that back then, in 2008, like cell phones could, like, you know, send messages, call, play some games, and not much more, right? What is that? When it comes to cell phones, I don't know, because I never own one, so I never care about them. But we already know that this is not gonna be a domination, that's for sure, but I'll take it no matter what. See, otherwise we're gonna be doing this highway battle until the end of times, and... yeah. Wait. Weren't there 5 seconds remaining on the clock? Maybe it's a matter of length as well, like you reach a specific place. I don't know. Wait, the Nissan Seat them. I thought that model was gonna be like the Le Mans prototype, but no. This game is not gonna have that. By the thumbnail, it kinda looked like it could have been something like that. Though the thumbnail is also complete clickbait. Because neither of these two cars looks like that. I'm not sure what you're trying to sell me. I overtake this bitch and... well, stay on the lead, yeah. Oh, he thought I was going to the left, well, too bad. Yeah, and just like that, he lost. By the way, speaking of Nissan Seat, I still don't know what was the deal with the Nissan Seat at the beginning of the game. What was the point of that? Oh, that guy became a Beyblade. Look at that on the radar. He became a Beyblade. Okay. Cool. Well, here if you want to dominate, the only way is by overtaking faster. But... so it seems that that's simply the thumbnail of the event type, not of the event itself. Okay, sure, why not? They look pretty nice though, those cars. So I wonder if any of this is gonna feature a Lotus. Is any of this that features a Lotus? Should be enough to win no matter what I do or how I play. It also feels that my computer is also processing this game better thanks to the update. I might be completely wrong, but I don't hear it as much as I did last time. Then you're really gonna do this. Nice. Pretty cool. Essentially, I should have installed this update from the beginning. It's just that I'm not a fan of installing updates in general. Like, if something works, I think the best thing is to not fix what isn't broken, right? Also, let me restart because I wasted too much time already. But yeah, like, even if it didn't work extremely perfectly, the game worked well and it was more than playable, so I didn't see the idea of installing an update for no reason, right? But yeah, in retrospect, it probably would have been a better idea, but who cares? I'm fine with what I did. Now the issue is that, well, with cars like this you can tell, in case there was any doubt, how good the Lotus was. Like, these cars are so shit to drive, it's crazy. Like, these cars are so shitty, it's like it's made on purpose. It probably is made on purpose to make the higher tiers look better, but I guess they forgot about the Lotus then. But I wanna see if in this update the Lotus got changed to be less broken. So maybe they realized after the game was out, oh yeah, we forgot about the Lotus. Because I mean, these tiers are completely arbitrary. Like, of course you could say something like they are more or less based on the real value of the car in real life, or based on benchmarks from the real life counterparts or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's basically just whatever the developer wants, right? Well, and by developer I mean the director, right? If the director says, hey, give this Lotus tier 4, it will give the Lotus that tier 4, you know? It's possible even that Lotus wasn't even meant to be tier 4, like originally it was meant to be tier 3 or 2, and then at last moment they were like, no, take this one down like 2 tiers, and they did, but they kind of forgot to change the stats, right? So the game is the game. The car is as good as a higher tier, despite saying that it's a lower tier. So I'm not seeing too much future on this race. Like, there is still some time left, and I can definitely get the first place in that time, but you can also lose the lead that easily, and I cannot really defend myself with this piece of junk. That's not gonna work out. Man, how can muscle cars be so shit in the Need for Speed series? I thought that Americans at least had respect for these cars. I guess not. These guys definitely have no respect on them. It is not gonna be a victory at all. Maybe I should leave this event for later, though I'm not a fan of leaving an event like this for later. It's a sprint event, it shouldn't be hard to win. I got second place. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna do one more try. If it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm fine with either thing. The problem, okay, yeah, that's enough. The problem that I'm seeing here is that, wait, Highway Wars, what's this? Like, oh, this is an event that wasn't there before. Though, isn't this just a sprint event with 4 cars instead? I mean, it's supposed to be the equivalent of Carbon that had some canyon races that were not a 1v1, but they were against other 3 opponents. But I don't see what okay, the difference is that there's a lot of traffic. That's the difference, like between this and a regular sprint race. Well, there was a lot of traffic. Yes. Okay, no, I guess there is, though. I wonder if these event types were retroactively added into the career mode. Because, I mean, probably not, but would have been nice to have these event types in career mode, right? I think it would have been. Nice. I wonder if there are other event types that are completely new. Hey, I could check the career mode and see where, like, if these things have these event types. Because they could have been added with the update, you know? So the interesting thing is that the update file was very lightweight. Like, I think it's 2 megabytes. So they couldn't really have added like anything out of the ordinary with the update. They were probably minor corrections. Like, it couldn't have been new content. This DLC, though, like the challenge series, that is a separate thing, did have like 160 something megabytes, so it's most likely exclusive from for this mode. I don't think it got added to career mode at all. Right, cop takeaway. Well, unfortunately, this also was in the career mode, but this fucking sucks. This absolutely sucks. Oh, and it's 5 even for the first mission. Really? Okay. Well, at least we have some obstacles on the way. And then that's rough. I should have gone to the left instead of to the right on retrospective. It's fine. Didn't show the cutscene for some reason, but it did take them out. Okay, and you, both of you guys come here. Yeah, here. Exactly here. And boom. That's it. Nice. That was clean. Pretty clean. Alright, so is there a hideout around here? Correct, there is. Suspect was last seen fucking shit up. Got it. That was pretty fast. Like, this is the typical event that tends to take a while to beat, but it was very fast. Okay, Circuit is the same one. Oh, the Porsche Cayman. This car is DLC, if I'm not mistaken. Like, there are a lot of DLC cars. Well, in fact, there are a lot of DLCs, period. And I think this one is DLC. Could be wrong, but I think I remember seeing it as DLC, which is pretty outrageous, isn't it? Like, this car was like in the base Carbon game, so them putting it as DLC on a Nets game is pretty scummy. Though it makes sense because it's Electronic Arts, so if any company will do it, yeah, okay. That was pretty fucked up. I mean, I saw the radar and I thought it was it's fine. But if there's anyone that will take away something that was in a previous game and put it on the next one as DLC, it's Electronic Arts. Not the only one though, especially, you know, I follow fighting games mostly, and they do the same in Street Fighter and in Tekken. Characters that were in the base version of the previous game, well, they put it as DLC on the next one. Because, you know, why not? They are gonna eat it up anyways. So yeah, pretty nice. Well, it's even worse in the case... Well, I don't know what's worse, really. If, for example, speaking of fighting in one of them is a Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5 had Akuma as DLC, and Street Fighter 6 also has Akuma as DLC. So I don't know if that's worse than having a character be on the base roster of a previous game and DLC on the next one, or if it's DLC on both ones. I cannot decide what's worse. They are both pretty shitty though. Well, and in the case of Street Fighter, was that the case? That a character... Yeah, Rashid. In Street Fighter 5, Rashid was part of the main cast, and in Street Fighter 6, he was DLC. For some reason. It wasn't even a fan favorite, but yeah. DLC, choose for you. Because with Akuma, yeah, it's understandable, at least from a scummy businessman standpoint, right? Like, yeah, Akuma is gonna sell because he's one of the most popular characters. But then Rashid, character that was like whatever and was part of the base roster, and now you make it DLC? Okay, can you stop dying? Well, unfortunately, I fucked that up. Damn it, but I can tell you that it's a pain using any card that is not the Lotus. It really feels like you're playing with a with an nerf card, really. Like you're playing with an nerf card, but in reality what you did is that you played with an overpowered broken card, so everything else looks, you know, bad in comparison. You see, with the Lotus I basically did some corners in a way that I don't remember doing that in many racing games, period. Like, the amount of, you know, handling, well, I don't know if you will call it downforce there, but like, because it's weird to explain, like, the steering power of that Lotus is out of this world. Damn, same problem as before. You see, right now I'm trying to calculate these corners as if I was using the Lotus, and obviously I'm not doing it well because they are not the Lotus. Though they are also very shitty corners, but the Lotus will have done them without issue. Though, at least the thing that I gotta tell you is that this thing drives way better than the muscle car from the previous sprint event. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. You know, I would appreciate if you didn't crash on the second half of the lap, you know? Like, on the second half of the lap, on the final lap. You already did that on the first one, and that's fine, you have enough time to recover, but here on the final lap, you don't have that time to recover, you know? So, don't do it, if you will be so kind. Alright, no problem. Got it. With the Cayman, even a domination, and here the domination is a lot closer because the cars are pre-checked. So cost to state is the other event that can take a long time to do because you mostly need to take down the police. And yeah, that's annoying because you kinda have to babysit their dogshit AI. Though, you know, maybe it's wrong, but what I read is that this version of the game also has the best AI. So I don't know how to think about that. Like, if this is the best AI, what's the worst AI? You know? Quite scary to think about. And that didn't get anyone. So in cost to stay, you can, for example, just knock down these things and it counts as cost to stay. Well, you can also crash random cars and it works too. It will be nice to get to that obstacle. Promise I have to do a U-turn and the police is not gonna do it. Well, it kinda, you know, they cannot do it, but let's see if they try to go through there. Well, one of them got knocked out somehow. Okay, that's fine, yeah, that's the end of that, get it? Okay.
Officers on the way up to the pursuit call. Vehicle was last seen at south on East Side Boulevard. Supervisor saying he wants a quadrant.
I don't know where I was last seen, but I know I won't be seen again, so don't worry. Nice. Okay. And what's the last event? What type are we looking at? Highway checkpoint, so this one is also a new one, isn't it? With the beautiful Skyline R34, of course. This car is fantastic. I cannot imagine a better car than this one. Like a more perfect car than this one, visually at least. Like, visually, this car is gorgeous. I will have to put the R32 like side to side, because I also remember loving the R32. I feel like the R34 looks even better. What a fantastic car, what a lovely car. Also, how is it going, Metits? Yeah, we're doing some Need for Speed. And also, don't worry, okay, don't worry about that. I downloaded the demo for your game, though chances are that this challenge series is gonna take me 2 streams, so that will be today and tomorrow, and I'm not sure if tomorrow there will be enough time left after the stream, because these things, I mean, I don't even know if 2 streams will be enough to beat this, especially since the later ones get harder. So chances are that I might play it in 3 days, because in 3 days either I am still playing this game and I beat whatever was remaining early on the stream, so there is enough time left, or I play something else, and if I play something else, like, it's most likely not gonna be anything long or anything like that, so there is most likely gonna be enough time later on the stream. So essentially, yeah, that will be Monday in my country. In your country it will be Sunday. No, I mean, it will be Tuesday. It will be Tuesday. Like basically the early morning of Tuesday, I guess. Like after midnight of Tuesday. Oh, yeah. But that, I mean, I don't want to promise anything because I cannot see the future. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna be playing there, but that's a safe bet. Though, look, I'm not gonna make you stay awake late, because as I say before, I'll re-upload it later. Though I did see the trailer and it looks like an interesting game. Still surprised that you went for that genre though, considering that it's such an obscure genre. But yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I respect that, going for an unpopular choice. Okay, let me retry this sprint. This time I have to get it. But yeah, it's a brave choice. Yeah, it makes me remember when I play those games that you mentioned, Inertia and well, the other one that I always forget the name of. Just a learning experience. I don't see it becoming a success. Yeah, that's what matters. Though something that you need to know is that 3D will always be more complex than 2D. So if in the future you wanna do a 2D game, just know that it's gonna be easier than doing a 3D game. 3D games are complex things. Well, there are a lot of tools nowadays to make development easier, but... Oh, you'll stick to 3D, okay? So you did say that you wanted to make a Metroidvania at some point. Metroidvanias have to be, by definition, 2D. You know? Well, some people say that some Metroidvanias can be 3D. I disagree, personally, but yeah. I have some isometric game like League Diablo, but I like 3D a lot. With isometric stuff, I don't really have any recommendation or advice, because it's not my field. But yeah, for 3D, well, Metroidvania-like. Well, the thing is that most 3D games that have a lot of like Metroid aspects and also, you know, tend to have gothic aesthetic, they call them Souls-like. Because Dark Souls is kind of like it's not a Metroidvania because it doesn't really have movement upgrades that unlock progress. It only has keys and stuff that let you go to places you couldn't before. But yeah, usually people, when they think of 3D Metroidvania, even incorrectly, they usually think of Dark Souls. So yeah, you could do a Souls-like. Maybe. I don't know. But I personally like Dark Souls a lot, but yeah, Dark Souls is the type of game that has been copied to death as well. Well, it's just like Metroidvanias, but yeah. Essentially, the equivalent of Metroidvanias in 3D in terms of being done over and over again is Souls-likes. Boom. Good. Okay, so that's all of the bronze ones, which means that we can start with silver. So let's go back to the beginning on, well, checkpoint. I imagine it like Doom a bit, although again I never played Doom. Maybe I should stick to my own genres. Well, Doom is mostly, you know, ironically, it's a very... Actually, hold up. No, if you mean a 3D Metroidvania, it's pretty simple. Play Metroid Prime. It's a simple... Well, it's not a Metroidvania because it's literally Metroid, so cannot possibly be Metroidvania. But the thing is that if you want inspiration for doing a 3D Metroidvania, play Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is that. It's 3D Metroid. You can either emulate it on Dolphin or... well, I know you don't like Nintendo, so probably the second option you wouldn't like, but there's a remake on the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, you can just emulate it on Dolphin. In fact, there are pre-made builds that make playing that game a lot easier. Because originally that game... Well, that game originally released on the GameCube, but it has a Wii remake that uses the Wii mode. So there are some custom Dolphin builds to map your mouse into what will be the Wii mode. Have you played on stream yet? No. The only Metroid game that I played was Super Metroid. I did want to play the Metroid Prime games, but it's like I don't get the push to do them, you know? It's like one of those things that is still a pending dev, but every time I think about it, I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it. And I've been feeling like that for like a whole year now, like putting that series away. But yeah, I do plan on playing Metroid Prime eventually. And Metroid Prime has, if I'm not mistaken, 4 games. Like it has like the trilogy, well, the original trilogy, I'm pretty sure it's all on the Wii. And well, the new game that released not that long ago, Metroid Prime 4. So yeah, eventually I'll play. It's just that ironically Metroid is... I like Super Metroid, but those games are not really for me. I don't dislike them, but I am personally a bigger fan of Metroidvanias than Metroid. And the reason for that is because I love Castlevania. Like, to me, Castlevania is one of the best franchises there is, without a doubt. Castlevania is very good. But yeah, I'll play it eventually. The thing is that, to me, the I'll play it eventually could be anything like I'll play it in 1 month or I'll play it in 1 year. Like, to me, it makes no difference. And it could be either case, because if I feel like playing it one day, I will, and if that doesn't happen, then I don't. Recommend Nocturnal 2, I just play the demo and it's really fun. Yeah, but that's the thing. When I say I like Metroidvanias, I mean it in the most literal sense. The Metroidvanias being the Metroid-like Castlevanias. That's the thing. Like, I guess you can call me a purist, I guess, but I'm a super big fan of those. When it comes to Metroidvanias that are not Castlevania, I think I told you I played Hollow Knight. I'm not a fan of Hollow Knight. I didn't like it. I thought it was a boring experience. I thought that the game not just played boring, but it also looked boring. Like, everything is dark and, you know, and not colorful and slow and silent, and I'm like, nah, I rather not. But yeah, that being said, I did play other Metroidvanias that I did like, though some of them I wouldn't really qualify them as Metroidvanias. I don't get why people like it so much. Yeah, I don't get it either. But the basic explanation is that Hollow Knight was an indie game before indie games had... Well, actually, to be more precise, it was an indie game that released during the indie game boom. Because nowadays indie games are a very common thing, right? But the thing is that when Hollow Knight released, indie games were starting to get the initial push. Wait, you want me to beat a Sonda with this BMW? Are you out of your mind? That's supposed to be the fastest car in the game, isn't it? You want me to beat it with a BMW? Come on, dude. Alright, well, that's a weird thing. I guess it's called challenge for a reason. Anyways, I was saying that, yeah, Hollow Knight released in the indie era boom, so that is essentially what pushed it a lot. If it's a little bit awkward to say if Hollow Knight released today it wouldn't be that popular, because the thing is that it was because of Hollow Knight being popular that so many clones surface, right? So I'm not really sure if I could say something like that, because it's kind of like a cause and a consequence. But yeah, we will have to see an alternate timeline to see that. My dad has 2 BMWs, Tim. Your dad is loaded, because BMW, despite not being like an ultra luxury brand like Ferrari, it's a very expensive car brand. Like, in fact, it's a brand that is usually driven by people that are in like high positions of like a company or something, right? Like, it's not driven by multimillionaires, I guess, or maybe yes, but the point is that it is still quite a, you know, a wealthy car. He pulled out the wrong key and said, oh, wrong BMW, and I say first world problems. Yeah. I think that is in a very literal sense first world problems. So hey, it's fine. First world problems are still problems, you know. BMW is quite like wealthy brand, I guess. I mean, I'm not an extreme connoisseur of what wealthy people are driving and what they consider to be high status or low status, but I think BMW is kind of like in the middle ground, right? Like, it's not like common folk car, but it's also not ultra luxury. It's like in the middle. It's like a car brand that is not accessed by people that are not wealthy, but it's also not the shit that Ferrari or or Pagani or Lamborghini are, that are things that very few people can access. Well, or Porsche, now that we're seeing Porsche. I think Porsche might be there too. It's just a car guy, mechanic, importing and sales, so he has a bunch of different cars. Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, after all, if you know about the subject, you definitely will go for Sherman Engineering, you know? Sherman Engineering has some stuff. Yeah, BMW is a Sherman brand, of course. Yeah, it's I don't know much about them because, as you would expect, I don't see many over here. But it seems that it's a solid brand, you know. I think that all Sherman brands are solid. Like Volkswagen, for example, is and specifically we're talking about the Volkswagen Golf series. Like, that brand is perfect for common folk, right? Like people that can only afford a car to go to work and whatever, and just use it for necessity. The Volkswagen Golf is there for all of them. And for what I understand, it's very reliable. Like, it's very cheap, and it also has a good quality. Like, it's a very good price. I mean, yeah, price. That's how you say it. Price quality relation, right? Like a ratio. Has a good ratio in quality price. Then you have stuff like Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz is also more similar to BMW in terms of the fact that it's for wealthier people, but I also heard nothing but good things about Mercedes, right? I'm personally not a fan of Mercedes. I don't like the way the cars look, mostly. But I mean, when I have opinions about cars, I am exclusively talking about an aesthetic point of view, because I am completely ignorant about how any of these cars behave in real life, you know? Like, I should judge by aesthetics, and I don't like Mercedes aesthetics, but for what I understand in real life, Mercedes cars are good. And well, then you have Porsche as another Sherman brand. And Porsche, for what I understand, it's extremely good for competitions. Like, so many competitions have a Porsche car, and they usually perform very well. So yeah, it seems that Sherman Engineering is really something else. Okay, I tried to block him and I ended up fucking myself up. I mean, if I didn't block him, he would have overtaken, so I didn't really have a choice. That's a shame, but yeah, we try again. Though it's interesting that so far sprint events are the ones that are kicking my ass more consistently. And here it's even impressive because this car, differently from that muscle car, in bronze that was a piece of trash. This one is an actual good car, like it drives well, it's fast, and yet I'm getting my ass kicked. Yeah, unlucky, it is what it is. Wait, what can you do about it? I was also thinking, if you're looking for Metroidvanias, I would want to play, though, I mean, it's obviously every time I say Metroidvania I mean 2D. It's a game that is named Ravi Rivi. It's a good game, but I think that the art style might not be for everyone. It's I wouldn't call it a Metroidvania. I would call it a Metroid-like because there's nothing gothic about that game. Well, there is one area that is gothic and that's it. It's pretty much a Metroid-like. And it's very good, but yeah, it's not sure if I will commit to that idea. I don't want it to be overscope. Yeah, Metroidvanias do require more planning than a regular platforming game will require. Like there is a lot of planning going on in Metroidvanias because like balance is extremely important. Your character will get stronger with time. So yeah, it's like if you make the enemies too strong at the beginning simply because later on you're gonna get stronger, you're gonna filter a lot of players. And if you make them too weak, I mean that's fine, but if you make the following enemies too weak, that might not be very good because when you get stronger they are gonna be a choke. And there's also the whole thing about how do you map the game in order to make it non-linear, because the whole point of a Metroidvania is that it's a non-linear progression, but you have to not make it too confusing to not filter players, right? Am I gonna get overtaken again? Could happen. Hopefully not, though. Nah, we're fine. No problem. This time the Porsche marches on. Design is my strongest part. I always overanalyze every game, so I know how to do that, but I'm worried in terms of hard programming. I'll make a prototype and try to see if I can get it done in 5-6 months. Are you talking about 2D or 3D? Because when it comes to 2D, the hardest thing to do with SpriteWorks is animation. Oh, it's 3D? Well, if it's 3D, I mean, doing animation in 3D is still hard, I guess, but it's mostly like you have to design the 3D animation of the enemies. I mean, you could also have very basic enemies with little to no animation, but yeah. I know absolutely nothing about 3D animation. I never use a 3D modeling program. I never bother doing an animation even with pre-made models, so I know nothing about that. Absolutely nothing. I have no clue. But essentially, in general, when it comes to asset making, I mean, the game that I made is and I wanna be the guy fan game, so the assets, you should borrow them from wherever you want, right? But yeah, when it comes to doing your own assets, that's a different story. Because at that point you have to pay someone. No matter what, you have to pay someone. You could also do them yourself, but that will take you multiple years. At least if you want to make something good. You know? You want to make something actually good, it will take you a lot of time, like to be proficient at doing music, proficient at modeling, at animating those models. Then can I want to be proficient at pulverizing traffic. Man, it's fine, don't worry about it. Yes, you have to be proficient at things that just like anything else you have. What the fuck? Okay. Just like anything else, you will have to learn from scratch. That's also one of the reasons why, you know, I was thinking before I'm working on this second fan game. I'm like, I don't want to do a fan game because I don't think it's worth the effort. But then I started realizing, wait, but if I don't do a fan game and I make my own thing that I want to publish in something like Steam, I need my own assets. And that's something that I'm not gonna be able to do unless I take my sweet time, and I don't want to take my sweet time to learn about shit that I'm not really gonna apply ever, right? So yeah. Yeah, game dev is hard. I mean, honestly, making a video game is only worth it if you want to see the satisfaction on the players that play it. It's not a smart financial decision at all. And if you want to, like, I don't know, what's the word? If you want to impress someone, I think that there are better ways to impress them than making a video game. So yeah, that's the thing about video games. You make a video game, well, everyone has their reasons, but I think that the most solid reason is wanting people to play it, wanting people to enjoy it. So yeah, it is still hard though. But yeah, it's, with how hard it is, it's certainly not a smart financial decision if your idea is getting money out of it. Like, that's not. Pull over now. Nah. That's my main goal. It will be nice to get some money. If you wanna get some money, there are a lot of easier ways. Like, obviously it's nice to have money for something you like, aside from just doing it because you like it. But video games are not a good way to make money. The only way that it will be a good idea to make money, if you are someone like a company that already has a budget and you make a gacha game and you make sure that it's as appealing as it possibly could. That seems to be the idea nowadays. If you want to earn money from making video games. Wait, aside from that obstacle, okay, there's another one there. Could go there.
There it goes. I can't keep up. I'm losing him.
I can get a normal shot. I'm quite a troubled individual. Game dev is my best shot. Well, if by regular shop you mean an office shop, you don't really need to have an office shop. I mean, there are many things you can do. Like... well, it depends on what you mean by shop. If you mean an actual shop or if you just mean earning money. Because when it comes to earning money, there are multiple ways, assuming you already have a minimum amount of money. Most people, well, I don't know if most people, but a lot of people that don't want to work and already have some money to spend, they usually invest either in stocks or in cryptocurrencies or shit like that. So that essentially is the closest to not having a normal job and earning money, pretty much. Because you know that game development, even though it's far from being a conventional show, it's still a regular show, you know? Like, if your idea is to earn money, that's the key point. Because if your idea is to earn money, you most likely will need to have people at your disposal, right? And having those people at your disposal will require to do what a normal shop will do, which is, you know, working in a work environment. Yeah, but that's the thing. You will have to deal with people if you want to make a game that is made for profit. Like, of course, here's the thing. This is something that I say the other time, like, yes, there are games like Hollow Knight and Undertale where, well, Hollow Knight not so much, but Undertale that was made essentially by a single person, and now that guy is super famous and a millionaire. Those cases don't tend to happen, that's the thing. Like, that's the main problem. Like, you might want to aim for something like that, but that's such a rare case that not many people can. Wait, what you mean hurry? Oh, because there is a time limit. There was a time limit. Well, that's a problem. Not face to face. Well, but I mean, you can actually. Okay. You have the best example in me. I am a web developer. You could, I think you can consider it like a normal show. I mean, especially nowadays that there is a lot of, or well, at least some years ago there was a lot of demand for web developers. Nowadays with AI and stuff, I think that demand is gonna die off, and I'm not even sure if I'll be able to keep my show, honestly, when the time comes, but point is that it's a regular show and I don't talk to people face to face, I work from home. So that's another thing you have. But yeah, that's the issue. Nowadays, I'm not sure if being a web developer is really something that is very wanted at all. Maybe not. Because yeah, believe it or not, large language models are advancing at a very, very big pace, and something that I do now can also be, you know, not fully replaced, but people like me are gonna be needed less and less, essentially. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if before the next decade I lose my job. I doubt it for multiple reasons, but at the same time there is a strong case that supports that, you know, that idea. I don't know. Seems that unless you are the one that, you know, develops like the large language model in itself, doesn't seem like you're gonna be having that much of at all. We will see how it goes. See, I was gonna recommend you that, like, you can become a web developer, but lately it might not be that big of that good of an idea. But well, I mean, one thing that you can do is, unless you have a moral issue with it that a lot of people do, and I don't blame you. Well, I myself am kinda in that group too, but essentially you could try like coding stuff using AI, well, using large language models. And by doing that, you could make stuff, you know. Why did this police boy didn't get hit by that obstacle? God damn it. But it's okay, I'm gonna escape regardless.
After that pursuit call, be advised the party was last seen driving east over Diamond Bridge. Supervisor wants the quadrant to be set up.
At least I'm... Oh, hold up.
On your screens now.
Okay, that's the hideout. Should be fine, right? Yeah. Got him. Scrap heap? What you mean scrap heap? Why did I get that? Maybe because I kill a lot of police officers? Damn. Oh, the Lamborghini Gallardo. If I don't actually enjoy what I'm doing, then it really destroys my mental health. Well, but... Oh, what the fuck? Okay, there's something going on. Okay. Alright. I don't know what I should sing, but I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, game. Holy shit. I guess this update did break a couple things. Sorry, I got distracted by whatever that was. I was out to say that, yeah, you can say that about everyone. Like, everyone's mental health deteriorates when they do something they don't want to do. I mean, I don't like web development either, you know? Like, I'm just good at it because I guess my brain is wiring a way to be good at web development. But I don't like web development, but it's my job. I mean, I cannot really say that it affects my mental health because I take it easy, right? And it's also a very cultural thing. Here in Argentina, working hard is something that nobody does. Nobody works hard here. Like, here, basically working hard is almost like a sin, right? Though I'm specifically talking about like white collar jobs. If we're talking about blue collar, that's a different story because yeah, that's harsh everywhere. But white collar jobs here are like basically whatever is the laziest and least effort path is the one that is gonna be taken. So essentially in my case, even though I don't like web development, since no one has expectations of me working super hard or anything like that, I work at a very, very slow pace and it's okay, you know? You do a little bit of coding here and there and that's it. And as I already told you, I don't go to office, I work from home, so in my case, even though I do something I don't like, it's not that big of a deal because the expectations are on the floor, you know? But yeah, maybe in country, well actually in Spain it should be the same deal, you know? I mean, after all, you know that laziness comes from there. The reason why Argentina and most Latin American countries are so fucking lazy is because of the Spanish influence. Now, you know that the word siesta is very important. It means nap. And Spanish people love it. Spanish people love their nap. So it's basically doing the least effort thing possible. Spanish people are lazy too. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, maybe if you get a show of something you don't like, assuming it's not a blue collar show, because yeah, those things, there's nothing you can do. But if it's a white collar show, I doubt anyone is gonna have high expectations. Like, because that's just how we are, you know? That's just how Hispanic people, that's how we operate. No expectations, no will to work, no nothing. So hey, if you find a what you call a normal show, if you manage to make it from home, even if it's something you don't like, if you do it once in a while, the bare minimum, I don't know if it's gonna be a toll in your mental health. Because you're probably looking at it as in, you know, I have to be, I know, like the Pokemon opening, I have to be the very best like no one ever was. No one is expecting that from you and no from anyone, you know. That's just how it is. Like, you do the bare minimum. In fact, multiple times the best strategy is to delay something as much as possible, because if you do it fast, you are just gonna get more show. Like, if you tell someone, hey, I finished what I did, I need something to do, they are obviously gonna give you something to do. So yeah, obviously what I'm saying here is, like, you might be thinking, them, that's a very shitty mindset, no wonder your countries are shitholes. And you will be right, like, you will be 100% right. On that, like, that's exactly the reason why Latin America will always be a dumpster. But the point is that at least when it comes to the mental health, it does a good job at not getting in your nerves, you know, working with the least effort possible. What's not very good on your mental health though is how you know, how bad the safety of pretty much everywhere here is. Like, the fact that someone can rob you like it's nothing. And yeah, that sucks. But as far as working is concerned, if you don't work in a blue collar shop, like, it's very peaceful, very mentally soothing even. So I will use this opportunity of the fact that you're in Spain, and if you can find a white collar show, and especially one where you work from home, even if it's doing something you don't like, I will at least try. I mean, after all, it's not like we are in the Middle Ages where a lot of workers were pretty much slaves and you didn't have a choice once you enter a place. Like, here, you can enter. You really hate it? Well, no problem. You can, yeah, like, quit. The hard part is getting higher, though. That's the hard part. But hey, when it comes to working, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be as you painted. I don't think it's gonna be taxing on your mental health. If you were in the USA, that's a different story. In the USA, at least for the personal examples that I have, people work and don't stop working, and the moment like your boss doesn't like you, you are fired and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you're constantly fearing for your job, you're constantly doing something, getting yelled at. But yeah, in Spain, that's not the case. But yeah, that's just my advice. Yeah, the US is a crazy place. I mean, I know because I have a family member that lives there, and I mean, they are not doing badly at all, but you can tell that the job is very taxing on your mind. And the people that work with you are not like, oh yeah, don't worry, like, yeah, just rest a little bit, like, they will go full work, right? Like full work mode, because otherwise you can get fired and there are no laws in place protecting you from that. Differently from, for example, my country, and it's one of the reasons why I say I heavily doubt I'm ever gonna get fired, because to fire someone here, you have to pay them a whole year worth of salary minimum as indemnization. Well, I don't know if that's a word in English, but basically as a compensation for firing someone with no good reason, like they didn't do any crime, they are like at the very least doing what their job tells them to do. Well, if you fire them like that, 1 year of salary minimum before they go, or you're gonna get like you're gonna get sued, and you're probably gonna lose more money for getting sued. I mean, there have been cases of workers that have been fired for no good reason and they haven't been compensated, and they sue the company and they got millions of pesos, not millions of dollars, but I guess with dollars it will be like thousands of dollars, right? Like probably tens of thousands of dollars. That's simply for suing a company that they didn't fire them properly. So yeah, in Spain I don't know how laws are. If the company bankrupts, it's a little bit harder. It depends on the type of company. Usually what happens is that the assets get liquidated to pay the people that are gonna leave. The ones that won't be able to be paid anymore, obviously, the ones that are gonna be laid off. Usually they liquidate the assets of the company, and if that's not enough, I think that it's either like again, it depends on the type of company. I'm not sure if they try to include the president assets or not, like the personal assets. I think if it's a cooperative company, yes. If it's like what we call an anonymous society, I think not. But in that case, I think that it might be like, I think it's very complex, so I'm basically just probably saying shit that is not accurate, but it probably has to do with the people that finance the company outside of the company that have to pay them. And I think in the last resort, it's the state itself that pays them. Like, again, since I'm not a businessman and you know, I never really thankfully had the situation where I got laid off because the company was going bankrupt. I don't know the specifics, but I think that you will get paid no matter what, whether it is by the company itself by liquidating assets or by the state as a compensation. Wait, did I? Oh, okay, this goes there too, never mind. I was gonna say by the state as a compensation, as if they, for example, needed a terrain where you live. Like if the state needs to build like a state building, like either for water or for electricity or for whatever they might need, and they need a place where you live, like they need the terrain of where you live, they pay you. So you fuck off, right? They pay you to fuck off from there. But yeah, that same logic I think applies if someone fires you and no one pays you. Like, I think I don't know how to translate it to English, but we have something that is called like well, promise that I don't know how to translate the normal word to English. Actually, let me use the translator. Because maybe there is a term in English for this. Let's see. Well, according to Google Translation, it calls it appeal for protection. It's basically a legal resource that you can use that if you feel that your rights were, like, you know, were not respected, you can appeal to that, and usually the state will have to compensate you, assuming your case is solid, of course. So maybe that case of getting laid out without pay applies for that. Maybe, I don't know, but it's possible. Here we have like a pretty pro-worker state that is slowly being transformed into not so pro-worker state because of our current president, but like a lot of laws in this country are made to favor the worker, like before the businessman, right? And that's also the reason why half of the workers are informal. When I say informal, is that they are not registered anywhere, right? That's the reason for that, because most companies don't want to pay what they need to pay in order to be like fully legalized, right? So there is a lot of informal work because of that. But if you are in a... Hold up, let me put this up. If you are in a formal work like I am, you have a lot of rights. Like, it's basically the polar opposite of the USA. Like, if you do your job minimally what you're expected to do, you won't get fired. Like, the company does not want to deal with firing someone without a very good reason. And the thing is that when it comes to, you know, vacations or, you know, if you are sick or shit like that, like, there are a lot of rights here too. But yeah, we will see how much that lasts. As I say, our current president thinks that the state shouldn't get in the way of companies. I mean, it's essentially what people will call his like a right-wing politician, because he doesn't want state intervention, right? In the economy. Well, in the economy or in many other places too. So yeah, because of that, a lot of those rights are probably gonna be rolled back to when they weren't there. So yeah, we will see how it goes. Essentially, the majority of Argentinian governments in recent history were left-wing, in the sense that they use a lot of state intervention in the economy to make sure that, you know, people had more rights compared to, you know, millionaires, right? Like, regular people will have more rights. But yeah, it's like, all of that, it's an interesting topic to talk about, because say it like that, you might be like, wait, why are they doing that? Like, why will they take away those rights, right? But yeah, there are arguments for each thing. Like, it's mostly, I mean, the most common argument is, like, companies have so many restrictions to hire and maintain a worker that it makes it so jobs cannot be generated, right? Because most companies don't want to deal with the effort. So because of that, they roll back in worker rights, so the companies have less of a burden, I guess. At the end of the day, though, it's like a lot of things in theory sound good, and in practice not so much. And I'll tell you something else about Argentina, you know. You see how in the internet, and maybe even outside of the internet, there is a very big feeling about India being a country that has a lot of scammers, right? Because, well, in India they do have scam call centers. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is that India, what they have is that they officially speak English as an official language. I can assure you that if English was an official language here, and that people of all type of social contexts spoke it, I can guarantee you we will be the ones known as that. People here usually always want to get an advantage by scamming someone else. I mean, scamming maybe not in the traditional sense of a scam, but in the sense of trying to get an advantage by fucking over someone else, right? Like by making the situation of someone else worse. So, well, you might be thinking, what does that have to do with anything? Why are you mentioning that? But that's the reason why I say that these laws and these theories are pretty good in practice, and I mean in theory, but not so much in practice, because people here try to find every single loophole possible to line their pockets and make other people miserable in the process. So anything that sounds good in theory is not very good in practice because of that. Yeah. I hope you enjoy the lesson. That's the reality here. Wonderful yap session, yeah, thanks, I know. Hey, that's how it is. Like, you should... I feel ready to move to Argentina, yeah. Yeah, after that, who wouldn't want to move here, right? Yeah, like, the best advice I can give you is don't trust an Argentinian, and yeah, that includes me. You shouldn't trust me. I mean, I want to believe I have a set of morals that wouldn't allow me to scam someone or willingly make their situation worse just to make my situation better. But yeah, it's still a very useful advice. If you need to trust an Argentinian, make sure there is no money involved. That's very important, you know? And I guess that applies to South America in general, but I can only speak by experience, and my experience is here, Argentina. And yes, this is a country of... I wish there was a direct translation of the word that I want to use, but it's an Argentinian word, the one I want to use. So yeah, it's basically a... Because scammer, I feel that is not the right word, because the definition of scam, I think it's very formal. But yeah, like trickster, I guess. Problem is that trickster, I feel, is that doesn't have a very negative connotation when I want it to have a negative connotation, right? But yeah, it's basically a country of tricksters. There is a reason why the most popular national card game is Truco. a card game that is about lying. It's about being able to fool your opponent into thinking that you have a better hand, that you have, kind of like poker, except that here I feel like it's even stronger, like the lying component. It's like the whole point of the game, like trying to trick the opponent into thinking that you have something you don't have. But yeah, it's a nation of tricksters. So yeah, if money is involved or anything that has a cost, I wouldn't trust an Argentinian if I were you. But yeah, it is what it is. If you want the South American experience, you probably should go to Chile. Chile, I think, might be... well, at least culturally, I think it's a country that is in a better spot. Economically, I think so too, but I think that lately things are not going very well for them. They are having some issues that, well, while we also have them, I think that they are kind of making them into like Argentina 2.0. But yeah, Chile, I think that it's, if you want a South American experience, it's probably a better country to go to. Nice. I basically hit the middle on the right spot to lose time. I'll trust you, you seem nice. I'll gladly get scammed by a nice guy. Why will you gladly be scammed? That's even worse, because that's the thing. You are not gonna be scammed by what you perceive as a bad guy, you know? Like, if you can already, like, feel like someone that that is gonna be a scumbag, you're probably gonna stay away. It's precisely the people that you trust the most that are gonna scam you, because otherwise you wouldn't get scammed. It's a joke. No, I know, but like, yeah, that's what I think it's a good advice. You're not gonna get scammed by someone that you think is shady. You will get scammed precisely because you don't think they are shady. Otherwise, you will just stay away. So yeah, I could be a fantastic scammer for all you know. Like, I will be trying to talk sweetly like this, or like I'm being so self-aware, I'm so innocent that you totally can trust me, right? And when you least expect it, boom, your bank account is gone. Your balance is 0, and you're wondering where did that go? Yeah, you should be careful. You should be careful of who you think is a nice guy. My 71 cents? Well, it depends on what unit we're talking about. If we're talking about dollars, 71 cents is enough to buy you a... Well, probably not a full meal, but I mean... you can probably eat for a day with 71 cents. Assuming you don't have very high standards, I guess. So it depends on the unit. Like that, for an Argentinian, could be a decent amount of money. But not quite. I mean, lately, in fact, also partly because of the current government, we are also expensive in dollars. Before, we used to be the typical country that you come here, you have a couple dollars and you live like a king. Well, lately that's not really the case. Like, we are also expensive when it comes to $2 like prices, right? So I think that doesn't really apply anymore. The whole, oh yeah, $71 is a lot. Yeah, probably not anymore. It's still more than what it's probably worth in American dollars. But yeah, it's probably more similar. Can't really tell if that's a good or a bad thing, honestly. I mean, in a way it's a good thing because foreigners that want to abuse the fact that their currency is stronger cannot do that anymore, or not to the degree they did before. But yeah, at the same time, it's not like the local population has a good time with that either, you know? It's a good thing because it means you can save up to leave. I don't really have any plans to leave though. Like, I feel like I constantly live in a contradiction inside my head. Like, I think this country is garbage, and so is pretty much the rest of Latin America. And I'm aware of that, but I have a feeling that anywhere else wouldn't be a good idea. Because let's say that I go to the USA. For the reasons that I said before, I wouldn't be fit to be on the work culture that the USA has. I also wouldn't be fit with a lot of things that the USA has, right? So the USA will already not be an option. So yeah, you say not USA, of course. So let's think about Europe, right? So Spain will be the obvious choice because, well, not only I speak Spanish natively, but also it's a country that is part of the European Union, so that means that even if the country does like shit, and I'm pretty sure it is doing like shit when it comes to finding jobs and all of that, it still has the money of the European Union. So that already makes the country not fall no matter what. But for reports of what people that went to live there from here are saying, even though obviously the life quality is higher, I feel that like you are just basically going into Latin America 2.0. Like Spain is gonna turn into that in probably not so long. Partly obviously because of Latin American immigration. Yeah, obviously, like you go from Latin America into a country, that country is gonna resemble more Latin America. Of course, it makes sense. Like, it's the same concept as Chinatowns. Chinatowns exist for a random reason? No, it's because Chinese immigrants go there and they form their own communities, right? So Spain turning into Latin America makes sense, but at that point, why wouldn't I just stay here? You know? Feel like at that point I might as well not go through all the trouble that will require, right? But then you have other options, because I mean, Spanish is my native language, but I can also speak English. So what other European countries are? Well, you have the England. What I've seen about England is that it's the last country on earth I will want to step foot on. Because they basically, you know how China is often criticized for being a police state, for having the government like basically spy on everything you do, and if you do something that the government doesn't like, you can get captured by government officials and all of that. Well, that's the UK. That's describing the UK. Will I want to live in a place like that? Absolutely no. There's something that I hate a lot, and it's authority. I hate authority. I hate people like exercising power over me. That's essentially what the UK is. They constantly remind you that, hey, you are just a pleb and we are in control. I don't like that, so of course I wouldn't want to go to any country in the UK. As nice as, for example, the landscapes in Ireland are, or Wales, right? Like, those countries are beautiful. Well, England itself has a lot of beautiful places. But if that's how the government is gonna be, no thank you. So at that point, you have to go to places in Europe that don't have English as the native language. And you can do that, like that's not something you cannot do. But at that point, I'm not a fan of going to a place and not speaking the native language. Like, I will just feel out of place, and that's because I will be out of place. Like, or at least that's how I feel. Obviously, everyone has... Damn, I spit on my keyboard, fuck. Hold on. Damn it. Everyone has different opinions on that. I personally don't like the idea of being in a country not speaking the native language. So for example, let's say I go to Italy. As I say before multiple times, wait, hold up. No, don't quit the event, you weren't doing badly. But yeah, as I say multiple times, I have Italian ancestry. So you could think, well, culturally you probably share a lot of things with Italians, especially when it comes to food, but I don't speak Italian. That's the problem. I had Italian as an assignatory in high school, but I didn't learn shit. Like, I learned the basic things and I barely even remember them. So would I want to be in a country like that, where I cannot speak with the natives unless I use English? No. And would I want to learn the language? No, because learning a language for a single country, unless you are extremely passionate about that country, is a waste of time. Because no one outside of Italy speaks Italian. Well, maybe like one ex-colony maybe speaks Italian, but I don't give a fuck. Point is that learning a language for a single country, I think that it's a bad idea, and I'm not super passionate about Italy, so I will not dedicate the time that it takes to learn a language to learn Italy. So, to learn Italian. I probably should learn English, you know? But yeah, no, the point is that I wouldn't do that, and that basically also removes every country from the European Union. So you can forget about Europe. So then you have, I don't know, Asia. Well, Asian countries that have a life quality above Argentina are probably very few. And they have the same problem that I mentioned. I don't speak the language there. And with the exception of China, I don't see any reason learning the language from any Asian country because it will only be useful for there. It will also be only useful for China, but here's the thing. Despite being a single country, China is pretty much like a whole continent. So yes, even though learning Chinese is only useful in China, China is huge. What's the problem with China? Well, remember what I mentioned about the UK? Well, China is like that. And why would I want that, right? So that is also not an option. Was trying to think where to move to. Yeah, exactly. And I was gonna say, what other option do you have? Well, I think there is only one country that might tick all the boxes, but I need to investigate more. And that country will be New Zealand. And what's the problem with New Zealand? It's in the middle of nowhere, so like that's not a bad thing in itself, but that could bring a lot of complications, you know? And those complications, I probably shouldn't worry about them, and they are probably not even that different from the ones you get here. I mean, Argentina is also a country that is pretty far from the rest of the world geographically. So maybe that one is not a bad idea. But I heard that it's also very hard to immigrate to New Zealand, so that probably is not a good idea either. But that is probably the best idea. Just not a viable one, but yeah. Is the Spanish in Spain similar to the Spanish in Argentina? Well, you can understand Spanish from Spain and vice versa, yes. Like, it's the same language. Is it similar in how it sounds and what, you know, expressions they use? No, not at all. They are pretty much polar opposites in that regard. But yeah, it's not like in Chinese that different dialects make people not understand each other. Here it's basically like just different expressions and some different verb conjugations, and also some pronunciations being slightly different. But if I were to speak to someone in Spain and they were speaking Spanish from Spain and I was speaking Argentinian Spanish, we will understand each other with no problem, but we will sound super different, that's for sure. And I will even say that some things we will probably have to repeat twice to make sure we understood what we meant, right? So in that regard, yeah, I think that they are different, but not to the point that we wouldn't understand each other, you know? So yeah, basically, for example, if I wanted to go live like in Spain, I could. There wouldn't be any barrier when it comes to language. There will be other barriers, but when it comes to language, no barrier at all. We will understand each other effortlessly. Right, left. So yeah. Not to mention, I watch, like, the streamer that I watch the most is Spanish from Spain. So I'm very, very used to Spanish expressions and Spanish, like, pronunciation and modism and all of that shit. Like, I'm very used to them. So I wouldn't really have much trouble. They will probably have more trouble than I do, of course. But yeah. For example, I could give you concrete examples of that. Like, for example, if someone in Spain says that something va a petar, right? Like, that verb means that someone breaks or something is gonna, like, stop working. That's not an expression that we use here. Like, that word doesn't mean anything here. But since I watch this streamer so much, like, that is an expression that I pretty much have it incorporated. You know? So yeah, I wouldn't have trouble. Spanish is a better language to learn. Well, in my case, I wouldn't need to learn it, thankfully. Because, yeah, exactly. If there is a language you want to learn, Spanish is a good language. Because it is a language that is spoken in the entirety of 2 continents, assuming you count Central America as its own continent. Well, and not to mention Mexico being like a third of the North American continent. So yes, like, essentially a third of the world pretty much. Well, I don't know if those are the exact numbers, so basically a lot of people speak it. Wait a second, this car is the Koenigsegg. I didn't know this game had this car. Damn, that's pretty cool. It's the first time I see it in the game. It is a very old car, I don't even remember. I think it's Swedish. Like, it's a car brand that is only luxurious, like you wouldn't see a Koenigsegg in the street. So it's a brand that is not very common at all. But yeah, I think it's Swedish or something. But yeah, cool car. Well, not to mention I'm reaching almost 400 kilometers per hour. Holy shit. Yeah, damn. Anyways, I was about to say, yes, Spanish is probably, if it's a language you don't know, it's the second best option after English, obviously. Because if you don't know English, then yes, English is the biggest priority without a doubt. But yeah, after English I will say comes Spanish. If you only care about utility, not if you care about like, I don't know, like something culturally, right? Like that it depends on you and no one more than you. But in terms of utility, Spanish is the second most useful language to know. Though it also depends if like economically it's a concern, because Chinese will also be extremely useful. You're about to start flying, of course. I mean, well, 400 kilometers per hour in fact is a speed that you could reach in previous Need for Speed games with cars that in real life will never reach those speeds. Obviously I'm not an expert, so I don't know if this Koenigsegg will reach 400, but at least it will make sense. But the thing is that in previous Need for Speed games you can essentially have like a Volkswagen Golf and it could casually reach those speeds. And yeah, that's not happening in real life, obviously. But yeah, with this Koenigsegg it's, I think, believable. Also, you know that I'm gonna lose this, right? Especially if I keep doing these 360s, for fuck's sake. Damn it. They will for sure reach those speeds, if not for those damn speed limits. Yeah, I'm sure it's only the speed limits that stop them from the... Wow, nice start. Yeah. Well, theoretically, any car can reach 400 kilometers per hour if they go downhill in a place with no obstacles. Like, I'm pretty sure that it depends, because obviously the air resistance will kinda prevent them from reaching very high speeds, but yeah. It depends on how aerodynamic they are. And obviously how long the straight is, because at some point you will need to brake unless you want to die. Well, even if you want to die, it's not like you're gonna die and the car will keep going that speed. Like, your car will go to zero. In fact, that's precisely the reason why you're gonna die, because the change of speed is gonna murder you. Yeah, every car can reach... Well, that's something I'm not sure about. Like, ironically, if a car falls from Mount Everest, will the weight actually, or rather the air resistance, will make it reach 400 kilometers per hour? That's a good question, I feel. Because you know that cars are obviously not made to fall, so they might actually fall a lot slower than you might be thinking. Maybe they do reach 400 kilometers per hour, but it's not like a Looney Tunes cartoon where they fall at light speed. Like, it could have a lot of air resistance, especially for such a heavy ass object. 100 kilometers is not that much. If it was that easy to slow down, then rockets wouldn't break down that easily. It's possible. It's just that I was never rich enough to really push a car off Mount Everest, so I cannot really give with all certainty if 400 kilometers per hour will be realistic or not. We'll have to try, you know. Though I think I need not just the money to spend on the car and just like make it go to waste, but also the money to pay the authorities for the damage that will cause in a natural environment like that, dealing, you know, that much disarray. Well, not to mention even getting the car to the top of the mount. Like, good luck with that.
Suspect traveling west.
Yeah, there are many logistical issues with that plan. We can flow the idea to Mythbusters. Yeah, we could. But yeah, the problem is that I don't think that you will ever have the practical knowledge. Like, you will only have the theoretical knowledge, but no one has enough courage to bring a car to the top of Mount Everest and then drop it off. They are all chickens. Also, this is a pretty cool livery. Like this number 8 with the laurel crown. That looks super cool. Okay. Well, I can have these two guys here. Wait, where was it? Straight. No, go straight. Okay. And then this. That? No. Hey, can you guys come here? Okay. What do I have to knock out there? What the fuck? Not sure what I'm supposed to be knocking down here. I think that this is a bug. Like, that's supposed to already be used, I think. Alright, where else do we have one of these? Back there. Okay, let's do a 180. Oh, there's also one right here. I didn't see it because of the police. No, I'm stupid, sorry. My bad, my bad, my bad. Yeah, that's the same one. Okay, it's there. Though, this one is also the same type of obstacle. That should be enough, though. Yeah, enough cost to stay, and now it's a matter of running away. And there is a hideout right here. There. Got it. Elon Musk sent a Tesla to space. I guess that's one way to make any car go 400. Yeah, I guess at that point it will be 400 kilometers a second. I think that will be more accurate, probably. But yeah. And here we have the Bugatti Veyron. Cars are pretty cool. Well, actually, you say that. I mean, look, everything that I'm saying here is without having any context and obviously without knowing how your situation is. So obviously bear that in mind. Well, you will bear that in mind, but I mean, if you think that I'm gonna be saying something insensitive, it's just out of ignorance and not out of malice. So what if you, like, will there be an option to, for example, work on cars with your dad, since you mentioned that your dad is well versed in cars, like working as a mechanic or something? I mean, that's manual labor, so that's not for everyone, but you know, something like that. Have you thought about it? Because you know that the most common way to get a job, as sad as it might sound, is through family. Like, nepotism is a real thing, but in cases where we're talking about like a family business, like I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing, because it's a family business for a reason, right? I help my dad with his work sometimes, but I need to get independent. Well, I guess in that regard, it will be if you really want to get independent. Like, obviously you could, but yeah. In my case, for example, well, I work, and if I truly wanted to, I could live by myself. In fact, this apartment that you're seeing here, I'm renting it. I'm paying it with my own money. I pay the service, like the light, the natural gas, and the water. Like basically everything about this apartment, I pay it, and I still, for the majority of the year, I live with my parents. I say the majority of the year because sometimes they need to go back to capital city to do whatever. But yeah, like I just live with them and I don't mind. I mean, maybe you do mind, but I don't think there's anything wrong with being with family, personally. Like, I could choose not to, but I don't. For example. You mine a lot? Okay. Yeah, that's understandable. I guess it's all a matter of what you are willing to tolerate, right? Because, I mean, in my case, there are also some things that I would prefer if they weren't the case here. But, I'm willing to tolerate it because I think that I appreciate, in my particular case, my parents' company more than I will appreciate not having it. But yeah, I guess it all depends from family to family, right? Am I lost? Yeah, I guess for problematics like that, I cannot really have any advice because, well, first of all, obviously I cannot relate, so that already is a bad start. But yeah, I also don't really know of anyone in a similar situation, so it's a delicate subject and I wouldn't know what will be the right course of action. Holy fuck, that was domination. Jesus Christ. But yeah, nothing wrong with being with family. But yeah, that's something that I cannot really give you any advice because obviously if it was for me, the obvious advice will be like, be honest with your, with your family. But that's because I have a family that I know that no matter what will personally support me. But not every family is the same. And also, not just because here you might think it's about being good or evil, but there is a lot of cultural stuff. Like I don't know, like culturally the background of your family, how they will see that. I know that here there is a lot of acceptance with that. Like, believe it or not, Latin America is a very progressive place when it comes to, LGBT acceptance. What is not progressive about is with how much crimes there are. Like, the thing is that the crimes happen not because of that. They happen because people here, there is, a very complex social, what's the word? Situation, I guess. That you have a lot of low resource people being very close to not so low resource people. And you also, as I mentioned before, have a lot of people working in formal jobs. So shit like that makes Latin America an extremely violent country because of the crime, but not precisely because of LGBT. There will be bullying like there is anywhere, but the thing is that I don't think that you're gonna be publicly ostracized for that. Well, maybe in some other Latin American countries, perhaps. Argentina, I do know for a fact that it's not like that. Maybe some provinces in the north that are very traditionalist, But I can tell you, at the very least, capital city of Buenos Aires, right? Probably the most progressive part in Latin America. So yeah, that's the reason why I wouldn't be able to tell you anything, because it's a very different context. Yeah, as you're saying, your context... Oh, hold up. Yeah, I complete all the 3 levels, so this unlocks the Pro Series and also, well, an RH7. Yeah, that's also something I read. You unlock cars for doing this. Use your new right to dominate online and career events. Yeah, I'll surely play this online. But yeah, you get an RH7 and the Pro level shit, so I guess let's do the Pro level shit. Which is, damn, they... Now they put a girl with less clothing, nice. Though, how hard could it get? Because, I mean, in these gold events, you already gave me the fastest cars in the game. Well, I guess this one, the Porsche Cayman, is... like, we're going back to slower, but... Yeah, they don't... Yeah, that's exactly true. Like, here's the thing. Here, people rob you regardless of if you look poor, if you look rich, if you look middle class, if you are a man, if you are a woman, if you are a kid even. I remember I got a, like, when I used to go to high school, like, I got intimidated by 2 guys trying to rob me, and I wasn't like an 8-year-old kid. Obviously, I wouldn't be alone at the street at that age, but I was like, I don't know, 15 or something. And those guys could have done a lot of harm. Thankfully, they didn't. I'm not sure exactly why they didn't, because they could have easily done it. But I guess it's because they were just like most criminals. They were high out of their minds, so they could barely tell what they were doing. But yeah, the point is that here, criminals go for everyone. So all of the violent crimes are not associated to sexual identity. Like, if there are sexual identity crimes, there are like, I don't know, 1 in 100,000. Like, it's a very uncommon occurrence. It's also true that, as I say, bullying, like, there will be bullying. Like, people... mostly not in adult environments, but in like high school, there will be bullying, but there will be bullying like there is everywhere. Like, unfortunately, high school is a cesspool of bullying, whether you have one identity or another, right? But in adult environments, like, I don't think anyone will, will bully you for having a sexual preference. And as I said, especially if we're talking about capital city. Like, again, probably one of the most progressive in that regard cities in the world. Not, well, in the world, no, in Latin America, because some European cities don't compare to that. But yeah, in Latin America, it's probably the most progressive city in the continent. So I'm saying all of this shit because I cannot really go with your perspective. Like, my family, even if I was, because like here I'm saying this not because I'm trying to draw parallels to your situation, but rather to explain more or less how the culture goes. I could be the worst scumbag in history that I don't think my family will ever kick me out of anywhere. You know? Like, even if I was an absolute piece of garbage, I think that if anything, my family will try to cover for my bullshit rather than shun me, right? And that's something that I think that comes a lot from, like, I think that there is a lot of Italian stuff on that. Like, Italians will rather go to hell with their family than kicking a family member out, at least for what I know. And that's the reason why Italian mafia was also successful, because it was mostly big families that were a very core, like a very hard core of, like they were a gang, but instead of being random people, you had family members. And since the family bond was so strong, they were essentially powerful gangs. It's a reason why usually when people think about mafia, they think about Italy, Italian mafia, because families in Italy are, as far as I know, sacred, you know? Like, there's no stronger bond than the family bond. And I think that goes with my family. Like, the mother side, half of my family comes from Italian roots. So I think those Italian roots and those customs are essentially what could not possibly, like, allow you to kick someone out. Like, the worst here, I'm using it in a very relative way. Like, at most, they could try sending you to an institution, assuming that you have very bad behavior and you're actually getting in legal trouble. At worst, they will try to at least send you to a place where you could get professional help. But they will never be like, oh yeah, now you're on your own. Like, no, that, as far as I know, because I'm not Italian despite having Italian roots, but as far as I know, that could never be the case in Italian families. Like, it's everyone sticks together. For better or for worse, because you know that there are a lot of people that also, for several reasons, don't really want to be that entangled with family, right? And yeah, in those cases, well, I think that my sister is a good example of that, but the point is that in those cases, I guess it could be a bad thing. But for the most part, yeah, it's about, like, there is a lot of family units. So because of that, the issue is that I could not give you any advice, because we're probably like completely different contexts. Like, anything that makes sense in my context doesn't make sense in your context, and what makes sense in your context doesn't make sense in mine. Like, in fact, and it's something that I read in the internet a lot, like the whole my family kicked me out, and especially in the USA. Like, that's a common thing, that a family, like, especially in the USA when you're 18, I heard most families are like, okay, you either pay rent or you're out of here. That, to me, will be unthink of. Like, there is no way someone will do that here. You know? Like, that's insane, like, nonsensical. Like, that's alien to me. But it's not alien to them. And again, that's the reason why I don't think I can help you, because your context, your situation is completely alien to me. So I'm not sure what to tell you, because anything that I could tell you could make the situation worse, despite following what I like, my morals and what I consider is correct. It could make your situation worse simply because your situation is different. So unfortunately, I don't think I can say anything about it. Sorry. I know that situations like this, you obviously want help, you want an outside intervention or at least advice, but I don't have it because it will make things worse. Because it's such an alien environment, right? My grandma will never kick me out. So why don't you go with your grandma then? Like, that doesn't seem like a bad idea. Well, at least with the limited context I have, wouldn't that be a good idea? I will assume that at least with the limited information I have, it will be at least a considerable option, right? Just need to move out.
Sideswipe him.
Yeah. I mean, it could work. What the fuck, dude? 5 cops? Where the fuck did you come from? Okay, you know what? Fuck you. I gotta restart because 50 seconds on the clock is not enough. Nowhere near enough. But yeah. All I can tell you is what I just told you, not much more.
On Gold Coast Highway. Passing channel, stand by. Suspects in a blue Mazda.
So you know that I'm kind of surprised here that I'm actually failing an escape mission. These are the easiest missions in the game. I guess it's because they just keep spawning random cops in front of me. But let's see now. Unfortunately, no hideout nearby, and this is a long as cooldown because it's hit level 5.
Southbound on Gold Coast Highway. The plan is to include immediate area and everything west of his last known direction.
Well,
For further info.
let's pray. Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly that guy organically came from there and you just didn't spawn it right in front of me like a cheating piece of shit. Man, why are you like that?
Okay, we got heavy traffic here. I'm gonna pull back.
So yeah, that's the reason why I'm having trouble with this mission. It is the easiest mission type in the game, but if these assholes are gonna you know, summon something in front of me, man, what a bunch of dipshits. Okay, well, I don't know what to do. They are just allowed to summon anything like there's nothing. The rage is building up. Yes, you could say. I mean, honestly, the pursuits are my least favorite thing in any Need for Speed game. And I do remember in Need for Speed Carbon struggling with the few that they were, but yeah. Here it's gonna be the same logic, like basically the salt potential is pretty high. Well, not to mention how underpowered this car is. Like, this car unfortunately cannot do shit to run away quickly, at least. But hey, we don't need to do this now. We can do it later, right? Though this is a problem because if I need to forfeit this mission, I don't want to imagine the ones that are all cost to state and knocking down cops. Like, that's the easiest variant of pursuit. This is gonna be a disaster. But here we're gonna be doing an Audi against a Lamborghini. Amazing matchup, dude. Yeah, let's just put like the classic turtle versus hare matchup. I'm sure that that's gonna go great too. Okay. Alright. I see how it is. So how are you supposed to do this? Because you know that if I don't get lucky that this guy crashes against a traffic car, there is no way I'm winning this, right? Like, that's a very clearly faster car than mine. And I mean, that doesn't take an expert, it's a fucking Lamborghini, dude. Well, now what? Like, now, what do you want me to do here? Just get lucky? Yeah, just get lucky, bro. It's not that hard. Our boiler broke down and we have no hot water for the last few days. Cannot even shower. Then, my condolences. Yeah, not having water sucks. Though, personally, I think that what's even worse is not having power. like basically the power going out, because that will eventually cause the water to not be there either if it goes out for long enough. And that's something that I had to suffer multiple times. Not in this particular place, but like back in Capital City, like basically we have one of the scummiest power companies in well, probably the scummiest company in the country. That is the one that gives light to Capital City. And there were times that I was like 4 days without power, and yeah, that also involves not even being able to have water to shower or anything like that. So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, that is common in Latin America, unfortunately. Like power outages, and especially if you live in Capital City, are extremely common. Well, extremely common, at least compared to a serious country, I guess. What a dipshit. No, nice. Damn, right at the end. Though, this is such a fucked up mission, and even more fucked up that you will want anyone to dominate that. Like, how? Like, it's extremely messed up. No, whatever. I can imagine the state Ukrainians are living in through winter. Well, Ukrainians and basically any country that gets, you know, basically obliterated by war. Like, any country that is in the middle of an active war is probably the closest you will have to being hell. Like, I think that's essentially hell. You know? And yeah, Ukraine is one of them, but I think that there are some others that are having a way worse situation, because already what they already had wasn't that big of a deal. Like, wasn't like they weren't in good conditions before, but now through war they are even worse, which is the case with Palestine, right? Like, I think that essentially being Palestinian is like essentially being in total suffering. It's insane. It really is like it's a hell on earth. Like, there's not much you can do there. And differently from Ukraine, Palestine like didn't really have that good infrastructure from the get-go, and the very little they had, now it's being constantly bombarded and put in risk. So yeah. And then there are obviously the multiple countries that are in constant war that you don't know about, because they tend to be countries that are irrelevant for powerful countries. Like, there are a lot of countries in Asia that, or you know, the Middle East itself, well, Africa specifically, a lot of countries that are constantly shitting on each other, and you just don't know about it because they don't touch a powerful country. Yeah, countries that are at war are, yeah, something that I wouldn't want to live through. Well, and that's, I guess, one of the things that I have to be thankful about living in Latin America. I'm pretty sure that the last war that, well, okay, theoretically here we had a war like 40 years ago against England, but it wasn't really a war that happened on land. It was an invasion to an island that is controlled by England, and basically unless you were a soldier, you don't notice the impact of the war, right? Like, the war doesn't happen where you live, so I guess it doesn't really count. But yeah, aside from that specific case, and that, as I already said, barely counts, because unless you were a soldier you wouldn't really notice it, here we don't really have wars. Like, this is a very peaceful, like, all of the aggression that we have in thieves, murderers, rapists, and all of the crimes that you could imagine, like all that aggression is an aggression that we don't have in wars. So we are a peaceful, how is it called? Like we're a peaceful continent if you take into account the fact that we don't participate on wars. But yeah, essentially all that violence is reserved for crimes. So we are still extremely violent, but yeah. Not at least in international conflicts. Basically what I'm trying to say is that I wouldn't recommend you to come here. Like if you're thinking as a possibility to come here, I will reconsider it. Well, I think that already being in Spain is like being on a better version of Latin America anyway, so I think that living there is like coming here will just make the situation worse. Never thought about South America, yeah. And it's probably for the best. Because yeah, as I say, any place here will not be better than Spanish, what am I saying, that's Spain, and much less the Canary Islands. Wouldn't even dare to come there for vacation. Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, like basically South America. In fact, I will say the entirety of the Southern Hemisphere, like maybe with the exception of that country that I mentioned a couple minutes ago, New Zealand. I think that with the exception of New Zealand, you can forget that the Southern Hemisphere exists. It's probably for the best. And maybe I'm idolizing New Zealand. Like, it mostly stems from ignorance. I really don't know how good New Zealand has it. Like, I have no clue whatsoever. But yeah, I will have to investigate. I mean, if at some point I'm serious about moving to New Zealand, I will need to at the very least know if where I'm going is a good place. The minimum, right? I do know that Australia is not a good place. Not a good place for many reasons. First of all, the same problem that I mentioned with the UK and China being a police state, Australia, even though it's not on that level, it's more or less there. And on top of that, Australia has an extremely dangerous territory, like full of creatures that I wouldn't even dream of, like spiders the size of your thigh. I say thigh because I don't know what, well, the size of your head, I guess, will be a better comparison. Like spiders the size of your head, kangaroos that can kill you in one hit, and so many other shits that you have to deal with in a daily basis, and no thank you. Like over here, you already have to deal with mosquitoes. Like, I think that South America is plagued with mosquitoes and they fucking suck. Every day I see one, I wish they finally got extinct. But if a mosquito bothers me, I cannot imagine Australia's fauna. Like, I will probably... I will need to live with a rifle in hand, you know? I like Korea, but people there are not very accepting. Yeah, neither Koreas are a good idea. Korea... I have some Australian friends and they say it's not that bad. I mean, when you are used to it, it's very easy to minimize how bad something is to someone that isn't used to it. Like, yes, Australian people are most likely used to seeing big spiders, and when they see one, they are like, oh yeah, we have that guy there. He usually comes out at night, you know, we should leave him be there. I wouldn't be able to think like that. I will first of all, panic if I see an insect that big, and second of all, I will grab whatever I have to immediately kill it. So that's the thing, and the same thing I could say here, like, to me, if I need to go outside, I already need to be aware of my surroundings by default. Like, I already know that at any moment some random guy could come out and try to assault me to rob me, right? And that's something that I have incorporated, so I could tell you something like, yeah, it's not that bad as long as you don't go out at night. But it turns out that, yeah, if you are used to a safe society, it is that bad. To even entertain the thought that you can just casually get robbed in plain daylight, right? My heart is already racing when I have a small spider in my room. Well, I usually, like, the problem is if I'm streaming, because I cannot stop, or rather I could stop, but I don't wanna stop, right? But if I see a spider, I immediately go to kill it. Like, I grab a piece of paper and I go for the kill immediately. Because the more you take to do that, the more it's gonna escape. Like, anytime I see an insect, a spider, I guess it's probably one of the ones that trigger me the most, because spiders here can bite. They are not deadly, but they are annoying. It's like having a mosquito. Like, they can bite you and it stings later on, right? So when I see a spider, I do that, but when I see any insect, really, I try to kill it as soon as possible. Spiders just have a stronger reaction out of me. Well, and mosquitoes even worse. If I see a mosquito, I don't even bother anymore going for a piece of paper. I go for poison spray straight up. Because every time I try to kill a mosquito by crushing it, it ends up escaping. Like, those assholes are so fucking nimble, it's crazy. So essentially, anytime I see a mosquito, the first thing I am is like, okay, is he in a place where poison will be problematic, like in the middle of the kitchen or like above my computer? Okay, in that case, wait it out. And then once he's on a good position, poison spray. Like, as much as you can poison spray that asshole, and when he falls to the ground, step on it. You cannot have second chances. Yeah, I was just walking around at 3 AM looking for where my cat is. It's pretty safe. Yeah, well, here it's not. No, 3 AM, forget about it. Unless you are with other people, or you are in a very remote place in the province, do not go at 3 AM outside. Like, it's asking for trouble. And see, for example, that to me is a normal thing. Like, I am like, well, obviously I wouldn't go out at 3 AM. Like, it's logical. Yeah, logical to me. It's not logical to people like you that live in a high trust society. But to me, it's normal. So for Australians that say like, oh yeah, that's not that bad. It's not that bad because you are used to it. As I say, if I see a spider the size of my head, panic is the least I'm gonna do. You know? The fact that you are used to it doesn't mean it's not that bad. It's just that it's not that bad for you. You know? So yeah. That's essentially the way I see it. Wait, is that enough to total the car? No. What was that dramatic slowdown for then? Weird. Sure, why not? I could go down here, I guess. My car ain't looking pretty good though. Yeah, we should get rid of mosquitoes, that would be nice. Anyways, point is that I think that New Zealand could be the least worst option if I ever decide to get out of here. That being said, I probably won't. That being said, I most likely won't. That enough? No. No. it wasn't enough, no. See, the problem is that this mission will have to be extremely precise with the timing. Like, having to down 10 cops, dude.
All patrols, units are in high-speed pursuit of a single vehicle.
Yeah, this is some horse shit.
Ready for units to
It's
switch over now,
fine.
please.
And I mean, I cannot even imagine what the next ones are gonna be. They are gonna be even more horse shit.
I'm gonna block his lane. Stand by.
How about you block this, bitch? Nice. Team. Oh, it was 3 of them. I thought it was 4, but yeah, 3 is good too.
I got him here, right? We need some containment.
Yeah.
We got force to stop.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You mentioned Korea.
You're not in a good area.
Like, with all due respect to Koreans, for what I heard about Korea, Korea is not a good place. Neither Korea. Well, one of them I don't think it needs any clarification, but South Korea is not a good place to be for many multiple things I've seen. First of all, it's an ultra-capitalistic place where it's mostly like, it's kind of like USA, but with Korean letters instead of English, you know. That in one side, but in another side, they essentially have an active gender war going in. Essentially, the very big majority of men and the very big majority of women hate each other. Obviously, I don't live there, so I cannot attest to it. I'm simply
Call out units right now. Hold on.
saying what I'm seeing on the internet. Maybe it's not accurate, but for what people say, and even Koreans that live in Korea, they say that the gender tensions are very big. Also, one of the reasons why they have an extinction level birth rate, like they have like 0.6 birth rate or something like that.
That's out to you right away.
Yeah, it's not a place you want to be in. Korea is, for what I know,
Got you some more ground units.
it's not worth it at all. I just like the aesthetic. Yeah, I know, when it comes to K-pop, a lot of people like K-pop. In fact, even though I'm not a follower of K-pop, I like K-pop songs, some of them, of course. Well, I mean, it's kind of like Japan in that regard. You know, a lot of people love anime, love, well, Japanese games and shit. You probably don't want to live in Japan, though. Like, Japan has a very specific society, and you can obviously get used to it, but chances are that you are not built for it, you know? You maybe are. I'm not saying that it's not the case, but chances are that it might not be the case. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend either one, honestly. I don't feel like there's any place for me. Well, but that's something that you can say for many people. I could say that too, but it's just mostly that you know, it's all a matter of standards. And obviously it's not bad to have high standards. I have quite high standards, I guess. It depends on what, but the point is that I'm not gonna make it there. It's the closest one though. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back, but I don't think that I get there in 1 minute and 20 seconds. We will see. Sorry, I was about to say, it's a matter of standards. Like, for example, there are a lot of aspects in Argentinian culture that I absolutely hate. A very big one of them is the football culture. Like, here, football is pretty much like a religion. When I say football, I obviously mean soccer, like what Americans will call soccer, right? Basically, here, and this is something that I love repeating because it's true and it's pretty fucked up that it is like that, but here, You know how people ask what your age, what your name is, like where do you come from, all that stuff? What football team you are a fan of is an information that is as important as all of that for a lot of people. And that's something that I don't like. I hate football and I hate the whole culture surrounding it. So I could easily say, like, this place is not for me, like I don't belong here. I could say that, but in my case, I could also simply understand that you can have, you know, unpopular and minority customs and opinions and tastes, and you simply have to tolerate that others exist, you know? Like in my case, basically, since always, every time that I say I don't like football, I'm obviously seen like a weirdo. Like for real, it's like, what? Like when someone asks, like, what football team are you from? And I say I don't like football, it's like, what did he should say? What? You don't like football? That does not compute, right? Wow, nice jump. And I could think a lot of things out. Like I personally could, if I wanted to, I could victimize myself. I could be like them. You're not accepting of what I am. I don't belong here. I need to get out. But it's simply understanding there are differences. And it's not a nice thing, right? Like it's not a nice thing that you are feeling left out and that people will like make fun of you or push you out for not liking something that is obviously like at the end of the day a form of entertainment, right? Like it's football. It's not like we're talking about religion, which will still be bullshit, but will be a little bit more understandable. But yeah, my advice, that is something that I can advise you. Or, I mean, people are real different, so my tolerance to bullshit, I guess, is pretty high. But my advice as someone that usually doesn't share popular interest and is not very social at all is just understand that there won't be people like you in your vicinity. I see on the internet there is a lot. Like that's the thing about the internet, you can connect with literally anyone in the world, but where you live, chances are that people are not gonna be 100% into what you are, and some of them, yeah, might even shame you for it. Yeah, and at that point, just gotta, you know, understand that. I guess not much more. I used to play it. When you played, it's more fun. Yeah, well, playing at some point I kind of also got tired of playing it, but yeah, it's the kind of thing that is fun to play. But yeah, watching, and especially with how low quality football here is yeah, a piece of shit. But it's not about that. It's basically a sense of belonging. Like, I didn't exaggerate when I say that it's like a religion. It is like a religion. Like, you're basically a fan of a club simply because it's the way it is. The same way that someone is Christian or someone is Muslim. Well, you are of this football team, right? Like, it's that logic. It's not like the football in itself is irrelevant. Like the sport. The sport is simply like what's in the middle. But the important thing here is essentially following your team for the sake of following it. That's that, you know? Like, in fact, I'm pretty sure that even the most devout fans will agree that the quality of football here is a piece of shit. Like, I don't think anyone is questioning that, but it doesn't matter because it's simply like, as I said, it's simply about cheering your team as if it was like going to church, right? As if it was religion. Also, this mission can suck my cock. religiously. Yeah, let me go to this circuit. What was I about to say? But yeah, I don't know. With things like that, yeah. I personally, I don't know. I'm a very reclusive person. Yeah, that's a new word. It's like Persian, but with an O. No, I was about to say I'm a person that doesn't really care. Well, in fact, prefers being alone. I don't really like being with people at all. So to me, that's not an issue. But there are other people that are not cut to be alone, and maybe that is your case. But yeah, in my case, like, if anything, it helps me, you know, be comfortable. It also depends on what you mean by being alone, because I mean, I do have friends on that. Well, I used to go to their houses before, but they live in capital cities, so that's not possible for me anymore. But I could go to capital city, but I want to avoid that piece of garbage like the plague. And you know, the thing is that, you know, I can still meet them over the internet. And in my particular case, I also stream, and I have people that follow my stream, and they are not many, but at least you have people that share your interests, right? I think that something like the most important thing, well, it makes sense if you're someone from a different country, like that's meant to happen, you know, like that's something that is the reality for most people. That in fact, I know of cases of people like that are streamers that now live in Japan, and they don't speak Japanese, and obviously they don't have friends in Japan. I mean, how cool they cannot even understand each other, right? So that's the thing. That's a common occurrence for anyone that immigrates to a country and doesn't speak the language. And I don't think that that's a bad thing in itself, because, you know, online friends, even though, oh man, I keep missing this stupid ass shortcut, fuck. Sorry, I was about to say that even if it's not the same thing, you know, in your current situation is what you have. Yeah, I'm not good at socializing either, you know. But I think that the important thing is caring a little bit less, I guess. I think that since I was young, I cared very little about the opinion of anyone that wasn't my family or my teachers, right? And that hasn't changed now. Like, I don't really care about the opinion of any outsider, right? So I think that it's a combination of not caring too much about what people think, and this is important because this is pretty easy to fall into, and I know that it's hard. It's not victimizing oneself, because every person in the world, no matter how privileged the position they are in is, if they want to, they can easily victimize themselves for any reason. Like, there doesn't have to be a good reason or even a logical reason. Like, there could be someone in a mansion like in a mansion in a millionaire family with every need fulfill, right? But it turns out that their mates, because yeah, they also have mates. They have like 100 mates in the mansion, right? But one mate gave you a coffee that didn't have milk, and you hate coffee without milk. And now you are the victim of, you know, bad work ethics, right? Like, if you wanted to, in a situation like that, you could victimize yourself to the end, right? You could make a very big mess of that. Obviously, that's an extreme example that doesn't really apply to real life. I want to believe it doesn't apply to real life. But the point is that when you victimize yourself, it's hard to get away from that, because you will always be right. And that's a comforting feeling, of feeling that you're right. You know, because I mean, why wouldn't it be? But I think that ends up creating, you know, a lot of issues, because it doesn't allow you to keep going easily. I will know, I mean, you know that I'm also a very big narcissist, right? So things like that, of knowing to understand that I'm not right all times, and that I'm, you know, I could get things wrong. Well, like for example, what I'm saying right now, like maybe I'm giving the shittiest advice you ever heard, and I'm aware of that. So yeah, but that's the thing. The important thing is knowing that you might not be always right, and that even if you know, you don't have to agree with other people on things that, you know, are completely subjective, but you also need to understand that, you know, yeah, other people will get in your way, will annoy you, and that will exist, because that's just how the world is, you know. Like, the perfect world doesn't exist, just like the perfect event doesn't exist, because I'm getting my fucking ass kicked even with a skyline. It's fine, don't worry about it. Let's do this coast to state. Well, yeah, I mean, things like that are things that are very personal, like feeling uncomfortable with people seeing you. I mean, even well, if I was naked in public, it would probably be categorized as a felony, and I will be in trouble because of that. But like, let's say that I have a very ridiculous haircut or a very ridiculous clothing. I don't give a fuck what people think about me in the street. Even if some of them actually express it verbally, I'll be like, fuck you, dude. Don't give a fuck. I remember when there was a time, and this is something that I'll never forget, because it surprised me that it even happened. Like, I don't usually comb my hair, and that hasn't changed since ever. Also, sorry, when I say usually, I mean never. I never comb my hair. And that was also true back when I went to high school. I remember that there was one teacher that says, I don't remember exactly what the commentary was about my hair, but basically implying that my hair was like a lion's. And I remember looking at him with a very big disdain. Like, I didn't feel like ashamed or anything. I'm like, you're a piece of shit, and I hate you. You know? Like, never the feeling of shame crossed my mind. It was feeling of content. It was feeling of mind your own business, you sack of shit. You're an adult. That being said, he tried to fix it. Like, he will be like, no, I admire you because I like your hair. Like, when he figured out that I didn't like the comment, he was like, no, I didn't mean it in a bad way. Yeah, sure you didn't, you piece of shit. Point is that, yeah, I never felt ashamed. I just felt like repulsion, I guess, from that person. And I still remember it to this day because of that, because I felt nothing but contempt for that person for making that comment. Obviously, I mean, I don't care that much in the sense that, you know, like the teacher as a teacher was whatever, like it did his job relatively well, it's okay. I also didn't do bad in his class. In fact, I was the best one in the class, so in terms of grades, obviously we're not talking about anything other than grades. And yeah, like it's whatever, but the point is that I never felt ashamed for a remark like that. And also that didn't change my habits. I keep not combing my hair, like I keep not giving a shit. And I think that that's how it should be. I did have a teacher who will roast his talents. When he made fun of me, I roast him back to the point he stopped. Yeah, I personally don't go that far, because well, as I said before, I have at least back then. If I went to school right now, it probably would be different, but back then I had a lot of respect for teachers, so I probably wouldn't talk back, but I will make sure that I will show if I was uncomfortable with something they say. Nowadays I probably will talk back, but I wouldn't notice. I've been out of the academic world for, well, decades, entire decades. Well, not of the university world. Like of that world I was out for 9 years now, but yeah, high school been a long time ago. I definitely talk back. Yeah, that's good too. And like honestly, thinking back, that specific teacher is whatever. Like it was an unfortunate comment that, like, yeah, I didn't like, obviously, but the teacher himself was whatever, you know. There are some other teachers I should have never respected as much as I did. Teachers that legitimately had no idea what they were teaching, that I knew more than them as a fucking high school student. Shit like that, and I still respected them out of principle. If that happened today, I wouldn't do it. Or I most likely wouldn't do it. But yeah, back then like that was just the chip I had, respect your elders, and I did, and generally it went well. Because those comments that I'm mentioning are, as I say, very minimal. Like, even though I still remember it with contempt all this time, it's not like it's a big deal. It's not like I wish that guy dies. Nah, it's like whatever. An unfortunate comment he shouldn't have made, it's okay. Whatever. But yeah, I threatened one teacher to have him fired if he doesn't back off for me. And you got a kid expelled? Well, I think I personally didn't get a kid expelled, but I do remember having kids expelled for many reasons, and I think from one incident he had with me was one of the reasons for him getting expelled. He got expelled for basically being a danger to everyone. Like mine, if anything, was just something that added to the reasons, but yeah. I had some students that were extreme troublemakers. Well, and some others that also were extreme troublemakers and they never get fired. Well, for example, it's something that I always say. People here, when I was in high school, like basically did drugs like there was nothing. And apparently here in Latin America, that's a common thing. You know? Drugs, obviously, that, like, I'm not saying that they drink alcohol at a party or whatever. Like, I'm talking about like smoking weed in the middle of school, like just like nothing. Well, shit like that was commonplace, and they didn't get expelled for that. So imagine how much of a troublemaker the guy that got expelled had to be. The school wouldn't have done anything. Personally wrote a petition. Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, I think that if someone is not, like, if someone is bothering you and words are not enough, I think at that point there are many things that are justified. Probably not violence. Like violence, I think that it's a last resort. But a lot of things when words cannot reach the other party are justified. And in that case, writing a formal complaint to have them expelled, I think it's the right course of action. Like in my case, for example, here, this is something completely different and with obviously a completely different seriousness. Well, for example, I have a neighbor in the floor below me that is an old lady that doesn't hear well, and every night, like very well into the night, she listens to television extremely loud, to the point that sometimes she wakes me up and doesn't let me sleep. So we already talked to her like 3 times and she keeps doing it. Like, and she pretends that she's like, yeah, no worries, I'm gonna try not to do that, and she keeps doing it. So at that point, she'd like, for example, slamming on the floor to, like, you know, bother her. I think that that's something that I don't have any trouble doing, because I already used the primary mean of communication, that is talking, and you didn't understand. Well, I'm justified to do whatever you want to bother you, because you clearly don't give a shit about me. So I will. And obviously violence is a last resort. Like, that's something, and especially to an old lady, that you will never do. If instead of being something stupid like this was, I don't know, like a neighbor that was selling drugs and was actually getting you in trouble for being close to him, well, yeah, at that point, heavier measures will be justified. Stalking, if not, is not enough, you know? Thankfully, I never had that issue with neighbors, and I'm very thankful, because it's a common thing over here. I never had a neighbor to be like a criminal, at least not be a criminal where he lives. I did have neighbors that were criminals, but they were criminals in their own time, in their own place, so yeah, whatever, do what you want. I'm not your mom. Damn, did you see those cars flying? Holy shit. How am I gonna beat this event? Because these assholes keep spawning from places they shouldn't be spawning. Like, this is unbeatable. I just don't understand what to do. Maybe I should head to a place that has a hideout, but I don't understand. I live in a small village, every neighbor was nice. Yeah, living in small villages, as long as the people are, you know, nice, should be nice.
I'm trying to get in front of him.
Wait, here's the thing. I knock all of those assholes out, but now I'm gonna have 3 more assholes spawning out of nowhere. Right, hideout. Yeah, that's the issue. There is no hideout nearby. Not even close. The closest is there. And going through all this place without being detected is impossible. Man, why do you have to? I mean, I could try standing here, but they are gonna spawn out of nowhere like they always do. I'll try though. Fingers crossed. Well, okay, they are already spawning there. They don't know I'm here though. That's the thing. And this guy will only know depending on where he goes. Okay, he tries to enter here, so if I go here, I can't fucking believe that, dude. And I got cucked by what looked like an invisible wall even. That's crazy. Okay, well, I guess that's not gonna work out. That would have worked out though if I didn't get cucked by whatever that was. Damn it. Now good luck having another situation like that. Okay, one guy appears there, no problem. You're not even close. Okay, that one on the off. That's the issue, you get cornered so easily here. Okay, but he's not gonna see me here, he's below. Eat shit! Fuck you. Damn, this mission was fucked up. Because, yeah, if they just keep spawning, good luck running away. Well, at least we got it. So what else are remaining on bronze? Circuit and Cop. Well, Cop takeout is a piece of shit, but Circuit I should be able to do it. Problem is that here, for some reason, this skyline has proven to be very slow compared to the opponents. It's a shame because it's a skyline, like the R34. That's fine. By the way, I think that I'm finishing these 2 bronze missions and I'm out for today. That will leave all the silver ones and the gold ones. And some of them could be extremely hard to do. But yeah. Okay, so here's the thing, Metits, if you're still there. Tomorrow could be an opportunity for me playing the demo of your game because... Wow, really? Because there is a chance I could finish this challenge series with time remaining. Like, as you can see here, the remaining ones are like basically all the silver and the gold ones. And if we apply the amount of time that it took to do the silver and gold ones in the previous difficulty, that will definitely have enough time at the end to play something else. The issue is if the hard ones take me a long time, but tomorrow could be, in case of course you are available, because maybe you are not, and that's totally fine. But yeah, the point is that if you are, it might happen. And again, even if you're not available, the video will be there. That's something that have no issues. Boom, eat shit. That was a traffic takedown, straight from Burnout. I'll see ya. But again, no promises. That's the important thing. It's a possibility, but I will never promise something that I'm not 100% sure. So I'm not gonna promise I'll do it, but it's a possibility. I know that for you it's like, well, that's a little bit useless telling me that it's a possibility, and it's understandable. I would think the same if I were you, but yeah. I don't like promising things that I am not 100% sure that I'm gonna be able to fulfill. And this one is certainly not 100%. But I will say that it's like 60%. I will say that there is more of a chance that it will happen than it won't. But the chance of it not happening is still there. So yeah. Not quite a 50-50, but a 60-40. Also, by the way, the Lotus has not appeared a single time in this challenge series. Maybe they didn't change it at all and they are aware of how absolutely busted it is, that they don't make you use it even once. They are trying to hide it in shame. of the monster they have created. It's like Frankenstein. But yeah, it's fine. Also, by the way, another thing that I almost forgot to mention. I think, like, obviously I cannot know a game before I see it, so if someone tells me my game is like this and that, it's like, whatever. Like, I can imagine it, but I wouldn't know when I see it. But since I did see your game, I think that you don't have to bother sharing a key, because that's the kind of game I will play. Like, if you were making a visual novel, it would be a different story, because I don't like visual novels, so it's the kind of game that I will need a push to play. But that sort of 3D platforming game, at least for what I seen in the trailer, does appeal to me, so I think I'm just gonna buy it out of my own pocket. Like, I don't see why not. Because, you know, it could be, as I say, it could be anything that does not appeal to me, but it does. I guess it also depends on the price though, guys. I'm not sure if I will shell $60, but I'm assuming it's not gonna be $60. But do you have plans on what the price is gonna be? I mean, if you don't, that's fine, doesn't matter. Like, we will see when the time comes, but do you have anything in mind? It's gonna be like $5. Yeah, the region adjustments, yeah, that's something that, well, it shouldn't be hard to figure out. In fact, it should be automatic. I think if you set one price, everything else is set automatically unless you specifically don't. Like, I think regional prices are automatic. I could be wrong, of course, but I'm pretty sure they are automatic. It's not? Really? But yeah, you don't have to set them yourself. Like, Steam recommends prices. Like, it's not that you see all these weird like places that you haven't heard of and you have to guess. Like, Steam tells you, right? The recommended price. I'm pretty sure. Or at least that's what SteamDB says, that there is a Steam recommended price for every region. And that obviously depends on you if you use it or not, but what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to manually enter the price. Like, it already says which one it is, right? I think last time I checked, someone was just adding them all manually. Well, even if they make you add it manually, I'm pretty sure Steam tells you the recommended price. Like, yeah, maybe they are all empty inputs and you have to type the number yourself. But the point is that next to those inputs, I want to assume there will be a price that is the recommended one. That's at least how I think it is. I never done it since I never published anything to Steam. And even if I publish something, I probably will make it free. But yeah. But if it's $5, I don't mind. Like, obviously I don't mind. Like, $5 is more than fine. In fact, if it's $5 American, the Steam recommended price, I think it's like $3 for this region, which is Latin America dollar. So in that regard, like, yeah, that's obviously no problem for a game that appeals to me. Yeah, like, I'm stingy, but not that stingy, especially if it's, I mean, made by a viewer. Like, that adds a lot of value, you know. So in that regard, yeah, I'll get it. Not to mention, I think that I don't even need to use my credit card. I think I already have enough funds on the Steam wallet to purchase it without adding any funds. Unless I purchase something else before it. Wait, what? Oh, I got a Corvette Dominator because I got 30 events. I'm assuming that's... Well, it's not really the halfway point, is it? No, it's just 30 events. Oh, it's for dominating and it is the halfway point. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, okay. You dominated half of them. Okay. So there's only one more of this bronze category on the pro ones, that is the cop takeout. Problem is that this mission fucking sucks balls, and I'm not gonna oops, my bad. I'm not gonna promise beating it today because, again, this is the worst mission type of the game, the shittiest one by far, and the fact that I have to take down 10 police cars, like, yeah, good luck with that. So I will make no promises. But I'll try to beat it today. I'll try to improve the game before release. It's very bare bones right now. Well, I mean... what was the name? Inertia. Inertia was also very bare bones. And I still like it. I mean, there are many I wanna be the guy fan games that are very bare bones and I still like them. Like, a game being bare bones is not a problem, usually. I mean, to me, it is a problem in general, yes, but I don't mind as long as I like the gameplay. And I mean, platforming games are just my thing, you know? I only got one guy, are you kidding me? Fuck, dude. Well, someone got... okay, sure. Hey, can you crash against that tower? If you don't mind. Yeah, like that, exactly. And I still cannot take him out. Hold up, what's the next obstacle? Not a fan of that. It's fine. Ultimately, I want to make something to my standard. That was basically saying, I know you have no standards, but I do. I know. I'm aware. I have very low standards for a lot of things, actually. But it depends. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's also part of I was mentioning before. The fact about not caring too much about things. So, for example, in my case, for a lot of people living with a neighbor that they want that I live below that makes noise at very late hours in the night will be unacceptable. Well, I could say it's in theory unacceptable to me too, but like whatever, I'll deal with it. I deal with it because I already did everything there was to do. And aside from straight up murdering my neighbor, there's nothing that will make her stop. And I'm not a murderer, so I'm afraid in my case, I guess my standards led me to accept this situation. But yeah, I don't know, like, you know, it's not, as I said before, it's not bad to have high standards, but yeah, sometimes I gotta be thankful my standards are not very high. Because I mean, if my standards were high, even living in this country will be unacceptable. Like, for example, the fact that the price of your currency can completely like change in a matter of hours and suddenly you lost money for no reason, that's something that will be unacceptable for many people, understandably so. In my case, I just assume it as part of my daily life, I guess. And well, that's an example you cannot relate to, so I don't think it's a good one. But an example you can relate to is the fact that I made a fun game, right? So my fun game is well, it wasn't very well received. There are 2 people that I know for a fact that like it, and no one else. And more importantly, not many people in the first place played it, and the few that played it couldn't beat it because it's so hard, right? But you know what? I like my fun game. Despite all of that, I like it. I will be lying if I say I dislike it. No, I like it. I don't like, obviously, the fact that people didn't like it. I would have preferred if they did, obviously. But as a player, I like my fun games, and that's probably because my standards are on the bottom of the world. But that doesn't matter. Also, you know, that's pretty sad. Speaking of standards, the fact that I failed this mission because I couldn't lose the police. Because I had the 10 down police cars, but I couldn't shake them off. There were too many of them. Oh well, it is what it is. In game dev communities, we always praise people for even putting something out there. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you know the amount of games that never release and never will release, and the developers show a lot of screenshots of the game, and yet they never came out, and they will never come out. That was pretty funny. But yeah, the thing is that yeah, releasing a game even in a sorry ass state is better than not releasing it at all, especially as an indie developer. As a big company, it's a different story and it depends on the circumstances, but as an indie developer, yeah, releasing a game is way more valuable than, oh no, I don't think this is up to my standards, I'm not comfortable with releasing it. That should never be the case. Again, it's good to have high standards and I respect the sentiment, but like a lot of times high standards even get in the way of self-respect, you know? You have standards so high that not even you can fulfill them. And that, even though it can serve as a vehicle of self-improvement, it can also serve as a vehicle to depression and isolation. It can do both things, and it all depends on the person and how it handles it, but yeah. If your standards are so high that not even you can live up to them, I think that's the part where you should probably lower them. You know? That's how I see it. Okay, I'm going there.
Hang on, he's scratching our paint here.
Attention pursuit. DTRs are en route to your 20. Coming in.
And this shit flying is so funny. Even funnier that I only took out 2 of these assholes. Okay, where else? Okay, there. So steer left here, and then keep going forward. Okay. I think indie devs are usually suffering from the project being a mess and take too long to do anything, so they don't finish. It's less about standards and more about planning. Well, yes. No, it's more about something else, and it's discipline. That's something that so many developers lack. Developers and people in general, but since we're talking about indie devs here, discipline is something that so many people in general lack. And in my case, for example, the only reason why I was even able to finish that other fun game, and that I most likely will be able to finish the fun game I'm working on, is because I forced myself to work on it. And you could tell that that's maybe not a healthy mindset, because, you know, it's not nice to force yourself to do things you don't like. I do, and that's the only reason why those fun games exist. Then you could do like an analysis and be like, okay, but was that worth it? Well, that's a different story, and that's obviously something that also depends on you. In my case, I think it was worth it. Not just for being a learning experience, but like just the fact that I'm able to say I release a game, even though it's a fun game and obviously with no original assets, I guess. Well, technically it does have original assets, but they are based on other assets, so kind of like a 50-50 there. But yeah, the point is that... okay, there. The point is that, yeah, I don't regret doing it. But I think that discipline is very important. I can't believe I didn't knock down those other two assholes. You know what, the same situation as before is gonna repeat here, right? Well, maybe not. If I can lose these guys, and I hope I do. No, what is this band doing? No, you're such a sack of shit. I can't believe it, stupid ass band. Fuck. Yeah, and I don't have any obstacle nearby here. Nah, you're not gonna get them off your ass now. Man, I hate Pursuit so fucking much. Okay. Last attempt. Last attempt of the day, and if it doesn't work, this mission can suck my cock. Yes, it can. So yeah. If it works, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great too. Okay, so that down two of them. No, all of them. Okay. Well, good start. And now, do you mind appearing? Should I move to another area? But the problem is that moving anywhere... No, like this is the area with the most thingies. Maybe I could go here outside. The problem is that there is no way to put a marker on the minimap. But going there will be good. Assuming these assholes follow me. Okay, go there and then left on the highway. Yeah, unfortunately here, it's looking pretty silent. Come on, I'm in the middle of the highway, I should be easy to spot, don't be like this. Damn it, dude. Nice. Not a single police car.
Heads up. GTR units coming in real fast. You should be seeing them.
Okay, there's one there. Two, okay, that's promising.
I'm back on him. I got a visual.
Yeah, well, Mr. Visual, this is for you. Okay, I got one of them. Not the two, unfortunately. Yeah, that's fine. There is another obstacle here. There's also some police officers approaching now. Wow, okay. That was an explosion. And that didn't even take him out somehow. What the hell? That's bullshit. At least this thing is capable of doing takedowns by crashing against roadblocks at full speed. That's good. If I can get all these guys at the same time, not only I get the objective, but I'm also free. I mean, no, don't do that. Do it. Okay, how many did that down? No, only 2? No way, that's a lie. You're a liar. Okay, whatever. Keep going forward, I guess. Well, forward... No, forward... Here. Yeah, assuming this guy... Wait, no, this is not the right spot? Really? Man, Fuck me, dude. I can't believe it. If only these things appear a lot sooner in the map, but they don't. Yeah, I just ram your car and I'm gonna ram your ass next. Okay, keep going this way. Okay, we ignore this roadblock, guys. Well, they didn't ignore the roadblock. Oh, they really invited Mr. Helicopter here. Well, that sucks, guys. Yeah, good luck getting rid of that. Wow, I downed 5 of them. Yeah, unfortunately here Mr. Helicopter is gonna be the real issue. I don't think there's any tunnel nearby either. Man, that sucks. Yeah, like here there's nothing. How are helicopters even allowed in missions like this? They definitely should not. Until I can take this asshole out of here. And even though this Supra doesn't drive that badly, it struggles a lot doing maneuvers. I mean, this is done, there's nothing you can do, it's over. And I can... It's unbelievable that the helicopter is even a thing here. Outrageous. For example, here I would actually be able to at least start the cooldown period if it wasn't for that piece of fucking shit. Okay, I'm so pissed off I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm so pissed off I gotta do it one more time. I need to satiate my anger some way. It's these missions that always ruin these fucking games, dude. Like, Carbon, I would call it a masterpiece if it wasn't for this dog shit. Well, actually, the thing is that it's in the challenge series, so at that point they at least had... Well, and this one is also here, but the point is that the challenge series will be so much better if this wasn't a thing, you know? Will be just so much better. Well, I'm here. You don't need to look for me anymore. Here, you asshole. Here, behind you. I think that you're not even worth spending the obstacle. Like, I'm gonna take you down the classic way, I guess. Alright, open up. I think that's still not enough. I mean, I obviously need more momentum, but it's hard to do it since these guys are obviously meant to chase after you. I still cannot down him. At least another asshole. Okay, Yeah, these two guys will be very nice if you came here. Yeah, I'm waiting for you. It's okay. There is no hurry. But you need to come after me. Well, he got killed there. See, okay, what is this guy's problem? Like, what the hell are you doing, dude? How did you even get accepted in the police?
We need some containment. We gotta force him into something. Force him into a robot. All units Spears lay down.
These are... Because of these missions is that I cannot promise playing the demo tomorrow. Because these fucking missions are the ones that are the most asshole-ish missions you can possibly get. But I think I only down one guy there. Yeah. It is not looking very good right now. Wait, there's nothing nearby where I am. I most likely made a mistake by doing this. Don't stress out. Well, I stress out this piece of shit mission though. Like, regardless of if I play the demo or not, this mission stresses me out a little bit, I gotta say. Alright, bring it on, dudes. See how you like that. Okay, all three of them got taken out, but I need one more. God damn it, dude. Alright, what's the closest obstacle? Problem is that if I go there and the helicopter is there again, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm running out of time. I cannot pick. Cannot get picky right now. The roadblock, I don't give a fuck, man. Yeah, the helicopter, so it seems that it's static then, that the helicopter is always there, so you cannot go here, no matter what. Yeah, that's the issue, like right now, I'm not evading the helicopter. Like there's nowhere you can take cover nearby. You will have to go to a tunnel, and going to a tunnel will make it impossible to dodge anything else anyway, so there's nothing you can do. You are bone. Would be nice if the explosion reached the helicopter, but no. It does not do that. Okay, so don't go there, I guess. Like, we already know that the helicopter seems to be static from that place, so I guess don't go there, but damn. Man, I've been doing more tries than I should have. These missions are so shitty, dude. Oh, nice bug. This light pole, okay. It got stuck in the car, by the way. At least that hit took it out. So how is it possible that this police is somehow worse at capturing people than the one in Most Wanted? Now that takes some merit. The only issue with making games is that every time I go into Steamworks, the website shows me my full legal name. Well, I personally also have, an opinion that in that regard is probably very unlike your situation, but in my case, my name is part of my pride. Like, I am proud of having the name I have, but it's it's another thing I cannot relate. Like, to me, my name is well, one of the most important things I have. But yeah, well, it's the reason why even the username that I have is fully based on my real name, you know. So yeah, I cannot really say much about
Stand by for instructions.
that to help you. Okay, ooh, these guys are not moving. Are you dancing? It's supposed to be a pursuit, not a ball. Sack of shit. Yeah, Gabriel is my first name, but I mean, I'm proud of my whole name. First, second, and last name. I mean, Gabi Oshie is basically a,
We got a target 20 confirmed.
if you will, an acronym of my name.
Pursuit update.
So yeah, I personally like every part of it.
All cranes just came down.
So yeah,
Damage here.
I don't have any advice for that.
Yeah, can I get any units ahead of the pursuit and set up a roadblock? Dispatch. Yeah, I think I got a
But yeah, it's
06 suspects not.
it is like that.
I'm gonna force them off the road. Pursuit going that direction. You're about to run them into our roadblock. Yeah, we got a visual. 1073.
Listen,
We got a real situation. Can't believe it, guys.
that was weird. Didn't count as knocking down the obstacle, not sure why.
Hey, you got him. Stay with him. Stay with him.
And the obstacle hasn't been knocked out yet, so it's bugged. Okay, well, pretty cool. I like when things are bugged, it's pretty nice. Promise that yet again I made myself get here, and it's a place that it's very separated from everything. We just cannot have nice things on this shitty ass mission, can we?
You're heading straight out of roadblock. Don't let him change direction.
Okay. Left.
Suspect is now heading east. Now eastbound.
Okay. And there. Okay, please make this work. And this is a good obstacle as well. Okay, all four of them. So it's a matter of escaping, and at least I hope to trigger the timeout.
Trying to pull some more guys.
Timeout. Okay, I could head to a
Cover units.
hideout. Don't know if there's gonna be a surprise spawn. Could be, but I hope not. Gonna go here. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's it. That's it. Man, this mission was fucking trash. And you know what the worst part is? There are still two more of this. Like a silver and a gold one. Obviously, I'm not gonna do it now, but yeah, basically for the next stream, we have all silver and all gold versions of these pro events. Pro events are named like that. Like, I'm not saying I'm a pro, that's how they are called. And even my car got teleported here. Okay, so let me do a quick save. Just like that. Save. Yes. And with that, we are done for today. So tomorrow I'll try to finish it, and if there's enough time I'll also play Metid's demo afterwards. As long as those missions don't kick my ass like that, but we will see. Thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream, well, with more of this. So have a good one, and take care.